Welcome to the Acer Predator pre-show.
The Acer Predator pre-show, where we will do nothing but talk about this fantastic, delectable delight of Counter-Strike. That's right, you have got two teams who have been putting hours upon hours in various team jerseys, in various locations, touring around the world, trying to master their craft. And they'll be doing so now down under. It is going to be FaZe versus Astralis, a grand final, the culmination of what has been a week of Counter-Strike here in Sydney. We've got the crowd all riled up and some of them covered in cream. Chad Burchill is joining us here as well. You do have quite the scenario, Chad. Quite the transformation, like a beautiful butterfly. You've risen from the bed of cake.
We don't need to show everybody at home what I'm wearing, Alex. That's fine. I've got the shirt on.
Can we not do that?
Do you want me to step out to the side?
Can we do that?
Need an okay from the producer.
Okay. I don't think the producer cares.
Just give a leg.
All right. So
He cares,
I
cares,
didn't come
apparently.
He cares, all right? Never mind. So let's stick to it.
No
Wow,
fun.
what a
No
party
fun for
pooper.
us.
Why? Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, he said, okay, peer pressure. I appreciate you, Sydney.
we good now?
We've got the green light.
All right,
So if he
so-
could just take a little step to the side, we can see what he's wearing.
How far do you want me to come?
Yeah, that's
I
good.
got a
Yeah,
headset
there
on
it is.
here,
It's
doing bit of
a
spin for everybody.
chocolate-covered towel. He wasn't expecting to get covered
This
in
is
cream.
how good we are at this. He actually matched his towel with my shirt.
Oh
like
my
we're
God.
color matching even in contingencies.
You see, now this is a truly trying test because I have to be serious and do an opener and talk to you when my colleague is wearing a bath towel and a dress shirt. That's just not, it's not easy to do. But we do have some Counter-Strike to talk about, Chad.
Yeah, we definitely do. We've got a big one here. Astralis
Yeah.
taking on FaZe. You know, when you think back a couple of months ago before Olaf was off this roster, this was one that we would definitely favor FaZe in every day of the week.
Sure.
But coming in today, I think the stark favorite is Astralis by a mile.
By a large margin. Yanko, you've got a taste of being up on that stage now. You think that's going to be giving the catalyst to at least a stronger FaZe clan?
I think they're a bit more skilled than I am playing on the stage, so I don't think they're going to have much trouble with it. Yes, FaZe has been underwhelming this tournament. They have been underperforming. Their T-sides have been looking pretty abysmal, but this is the grand final stage, right? This is the rivalry of FaZe versus Astralis. We've seen it time and time again. We've seen it manifest itself here last year in Sydney with the whole veto mind games and playing cobblestone and all that stuff. So I'm sure they're going to step it up for this particular game because they do have the edge historically playing against Astralis.
Absolutely. And I mean, you know, while we talk about Astralis being as good as they are, we have to remind everyone about how exactly everyone got here. In Group A, we did see FaZe Clan. We got to see exactly what FaZe Clan were up to. They took what has been described as perhaps not the most predictable of routes to get to this grand final, Yankee. It was a bit of a mess, a bit of a trip, and a bit of a stumble.
It was the biggest scare they've had yet, probably, you know, losing that best-of-3 series versus Renegades, right? Then barely scraping through versus Greyhound. That was a very, very close series. Finally managing to secure their spot in the playoffs where they did dismantle of Fnatic, and then they had the semifinal against Tyloo, dropping a map to them for the first time ever since the core of this team was formed. So not an easy or a smooth way to the grand final for FaZe, but I guess they're here, so that's what matters.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what kind of normally we say, what did we learn from their trials and tribulations to the grand final? I feel like we've learned quite a lot, and it's not all good for FaZe Clan. We got to watch them, you know, worked by Tyloo,
Yeah.
lost a game to Renegades. It has been close.
I think stumble was a really good word to explain their situation right now. But a positive note for them is it's been an upward incline from the stars, right? Yeah. Nico's been hot every single game they've played. Guardian's had his moments, and then obviously Rain as well. So this is the trio. If they can keep firing on all cylinders like we saw yesterday, it's going to be fantastic for them. And Karrigan and Xizt adding in their little bits and pieces.
The issue is, for FaZe, that should be a bonus, right? Nico playing well, Guardian, Rain, everyone performing. But for them, it seems like at the moment it's a necessity to get through these games and even to make it to the grand final. And against such a drilled and in-form opponent like Astralis, they're definitely going to need more than that.
Yeah, and it's terrifying. And when you do kind of change it over, and as FaZe are well and truly aware, they just said, I think I saw a tweet from Karrigan, he tweeted out saying, we're coming into this as underdogs, no pressure. I guess that's quite a luxury. When you think about the names in that team and you're going into a final as underdogs, it's quite a luxury experience.
Yeah, this might put a bit of a dampener on the scenario, but if we put in this context, the fact that FaZe with a stand-in, not a star player replacing Olaf,
Sure.
It's fantastic that they've made the grand final. Now, we've heard from Karrigan before saying we're a consistent team and we make the grand finals, and they're happy, well, they're obviously not happy that they're not winning the titles, but they're happy that they're consistently a top 2 team in the world.
I agree. It's a very weird dynamic at the moment for FaZe because they missed their star player, right? We talk about it time and time again. Olaf Meister, you might not see it in statistics all all the time, but he is an incremental part of this team, especially when it comes to their T side. So you can't say it's a success for them to make it to the grand finals, but even the core of this team with Guardian, Nico, and Rain, right? You have enough firepower to win tournaments still until someone like Astralis shows up.
And they did. Let's take a quick reminder of how they got through these groups. I mean, we got to see Astralis essentially just flex on everyone they came across. We wondered whether they even broke a sweat throughout some of these games, Janko.
Yeah, I mean, it was insane. You look at this, the highlight reel against Mousesports on Nuke. That's where Device had a blinder of a first half on the CT side with the AWP. And I mean, they put so much fear into Mousesports. They had to pick Dust 2 in the semifinal yesterday, right? So they haven't missed a step, especially on those CT sides. Really, the one map they lost was to Mousesports on Inferno in overtime. So it's going to be very difficult for FaZe coming into this one with their shaky T sides to rack up rounds versus the wall that is Astralis' CT side at the moment.
Yeah, if you put that into the context in a best of 5, right? Astralis have FaZe covered day in, day out. We've seen how weak, you know, these T sides are from FaZe. There are going to be maps that crop up where they need to have a good T side, and it's going to be non-existent.
And Astralis had 2, you know, big series versus Mousesports where, you know, they have the luxury of vetoing Mirage. Mousesports is the best team on the world on that map. Against FaZe, they might even decide to let Mirage through and veto something like Cash instead, right? I mean, they basically have a 7-map pool at the moment, and they just adjust based off of their opponents.
That is something that we've always described on Analyst Desk Squad. We always it was always theoretical. It was always something that didn't exist and couldn't be comprehended. And now we actually get to take a look at roughly what that can look like with their Dust 2. I saw your tweet, Chad. It was perfect. Do you want to give us a little quick summary of what your thought process was when you watched Astralis play Dust 2?
It was just along the lines of, if Astralis are good at Dust 2 as well, everybody else is going to have a very bad day.
Yeah.
I used some more colorful
You
language.
did, but that's
the sentiment.
Yes, a good sentiment.
But just to build on that point, this is the perfect storm, right? This is the fact of the matter that everybody else has just dropped off a cliff. Astralis are the only ones stepping up with the proper preparation. Mousesports kind of gave them a little something yesterday. Needed a little bit more, I think, to mean if they were going to be a contender. But coming into this with the map change, with Cobble going out and Dust 2 coming in, and Cobble was their perma-ban, and Dust is a relatively easy map to play that everyone's been doing for years. It's like, this is fantastic.
It is fantastic. You know what else is fantastic is I have the great pleasure to introduce who will be casting this game when it is announced. Now, I know this is something that they haven't got all the opportunities in the world to do, so Sydney, please be my favorite crowd ever and give a very warm welcome. Your casters, Lauren Pansy Scott and Jason Moses O'Toole, who will be casting you through the finals. Guys, grand finals, best of 5, and FaZe having to put up a fight.
Yeah, for me, this story is that kind of, can anyone overcome Astralis in this tournament? I mean, they are by far and away. I think Kerrigan's right with the underdog. Obviously, you can't think that going into it necessarily.
No.
That's just kind of like to kind of help hype up and take the pressure off a little bit.
Yeah.
But Astralis has them beaten the map pool, as the Dust mentioned. They're the best fundamentally sound team, the fewest mistakes being made. But the one thing that can counter all of that is the individual power of this FaZe roster. Will any of those stars show up today?
That's what we're waiting to find out. You know, Nico on a grand final stage, is this his time to really just push that further forward? There's so many opportunities for these guys to really tear them apart. And again, I feel things do change slightly when you do get to those grand finals. Things always look a little bit different. Map pools get a bit skewed, and just the way you see the games play out does get a little bit different.
The tough part is it's usually FaZe that kind of crumbles under that kind of pressure.
That's
those kind
the
of
worrying
changes.
part,
Yeah,
huh?
it really is. They've got a big test here. I mean, they have to stop getting second place in these finals. Getting second place is not good enough for this roster, and they're going to try and take the trophy here in Sydney.
I think that's the gauntlet set, isn't it? Pretty much. It could be the springboard for the new era of Astralis. Magis comes in, it all starts going right. They could do that perfect run. And
Another
now
Danish era.
It literally is just another one waiting to happen. So again, this is a perfect example for what we could be seeing going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for this one. I just can't imagine anything better. I think we're going to send it back to Alex. They're going to take it from here. So thanks, boys, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. That's Lauren and Jason. They'll be casting that one. And yes, indeed, you could be winning a record for casting the quickest grand final we've ever seen in a best of 5 environment. We don't know what FaZe is going to show up. That's the big conversation. And one of the linchpins to the success of Astralis, who throughout health issues and travel and whatever it is, Device is still hitting hard, and that's terrifying.
Definitely, and especially considering this matchup, right? What goes best against a loose play style and people trying to pick fights? It's a good op on the CT side, and Device, I've been repeating myself a lot, but I just love how he moves around on that CT side with the op. Very difficult to predict where he's going to be. We were talking about that Mousesports game on Nuke. He dismantled their defaults towards that yard area, so it's going to be very, very difficult, even for someone like Guardian, to match up against him.
Yeah, and on the other side of things, Chad.
Yeah, Guardian this tournament, you know, he's the guy who's been bailing them out when FaZe have needed someone to step up. And I think we all look at Guardian and the guy who re-picks time and time again with that AWP, and we go, what is he doing? But he makes it work. You know, he makes that bloodlust work, and it's amazing to watch.
It is amazing to watch, and actually we are going to watch something right now regarding Guardian. There we go, that's something. Thank you. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at Guardian as he talks about that AWP role in depth.
Those 20 seconds we have on freeze time, I'm always looking at the economy of the opponent team. I'm looking if they have a sniper rifle or no. I'm looking at our economy, if I can afford to do something. And I look at a lot of stuff. It takes a lot of factors during those 20 seconds to decide if I can go for it or not. So for example, on CT, if I know we have not very good situation with the money, then I take those shots and peeks. But if we have very good situation and we have a lot of money and the opponent is not in the best shape, then I'm not doing anything. I'm just playing my default. So it takes a lot of decisions to make during those 20 seconds. I don't really care what sniper is playing against me, because I understand sniping role and opening role different way probably as they do. I'm looking for easy frags. AWP is much more stronger against riflers than snipers. So what I'm going for is killing obviously the riflers and getting the easy frag to make the advantage for my team. And then we can regroup and play 5v4 much more comfortable than being in disadvantage. So there's different snipers, and some of the snipers are better in something than I am. But I would say I'm more consistent as the others. Even if I'm on 0-15, I know on the other half I can come back very strong. So I believe in myself until the last round. And I think the other snipers don't have that kind of mentality. I think that's the difference between me and the other snipers.
So one thing I've learned from that is also that Guardian, honestly, he is winning this staring contest. I can't. He just doesn't blink. It's insane. But what also learning from that is that he seems to have put a lot of thought into mastering his craft, Janko. I guess that for me especially was quite enlightening, just because I didn't realize just how much of a thought process is going into every single round.
I love the beginning of that interview. You know, I take into account the money situation, how well the opponents are playing, is there an AWPer? And then when you watch him go, it seems like no matter what the situation is, he just goes for it time and time again. It always feels like Guardian is one of those guys who is aggressive no matter what. And you know, sometimes, as Chad pointed out, it is frustrating to watch, right? When there's 5v3 and he keeps re-peeking and gives away an advantage. But that's just Guardian, you know, that's what you get. Sometimes he can win you the round by himself with those moves. Sometimes he's going to make it a bit more difficult. And I don't think he's a guy where you want him to change that, because then you lose his unique power, so to speak.
Yeah, I think the fact of the matter is, if it works, it works. And that's the thing. And we do see it work more often than not. It's always he goes for that second kill and you get it and you go, you should have been punished, dude. Like, there's no way you should get away with that. But he's so skilled, he can make it happen time and time again.
So actually, the picture you're painting here is quite a fun one. You're painting Guardian as an AWPer that does the basic side of things differently, and it looks wrong and like he shouldn't get away with it. And then on Device, you say, watch his demos do exactly what he's doing.
Clinical.
You've got the two different sides of the coin.
Device is systematic, right, in his approach. The fact that the team actually builds around him to get picks, and that's something which is, I guess, unique with the AWPers nowadays. It seems like a lot of them have just been left to their own devices. Whereas, old mate here, he gets built up into positions where he can go for the picks. He is set up on the CT side to get Molotov'd in position, and that's what you want.
I think it's also a matter of, you know, Device just has so much trust in his teammates and in the system that they run and in the calls, right? He knows that if he misses his shot or if he doesn't go for a massive play and falls back to a different position, that his teammates will be there to pick up the pieces, right? He doesn't feel pressured to go for those aggressive re-peaks time and time again, like that. He has the weight of the team on his shoulders, which is great. That's why he is, you know, for an AWPer, he is leading in least deaths per round alongside Zipex up there, and that's something you don't see very often.
No, and I can't wait to see these two duke it out, even though Guardian does say it's much easier to kill a rifler than another AWPer, so perhaps we won't see that head-to-head in the server all too often in this best of 5. Someone we will be seeing throughout this best of 5, though, is Stunner, and he has bravely waded out into the Kudos Bank Arena. Let's see what he's up to.
I'm still tasting the chocolate. I just want to throw that out there. It tastes great. In case anybody was curious, it does taste great. But I'm down here in the VIP zone. It's really comfy over here. We got these nice couches, and I've actually secured some time here with a family that has come all the way from a city known as Melbourne. Did I get it right? Melbourne? Okay. How about that? I'm here with Chandon and Alex. These guys have come all the way here for the Intel Extreme Masters. Talk to me about bringing your son out, man.
Well, he has been a great CSGO fan for a very long time. Like when he was 9 years old, he wanted to play this game, and it was too much blood, and we were scared about it. But finally, we realized it's actually a really good game. So I let him play it, and he's really into it. So this is a good experience for him to have, so we wanted to bring him here.
Well, he's getting the showtime, or excuse me, the show of a lifetime here. What are your thoughts on the whole event so far, the atmosphere?
It's amazing. The crowd here is just so wonderful. You can't get this experience if you stay at home and look at this from the TV. So this is just amazing.
Well, amazing it is. Now, I've talked to Alex. He doesn't really want to talk to you guys, but I'm thinking we make a little bit of noise for him. And this grand final coming up, we're going to be going into FaZe and Astralis. It's game day, baby.
Vodafone presents the pre-match.
It's time to break things down. It's going to be time to see what FaZe can do versus the Great Danes. And indeed, they are strong in stature, just like the very animal. And now we question what on earth they can do versus the FaZe boys. They do look like they've just got a system. Everyone slots into it. It's very rinse and repeat. It's very easy to replicate. And it does feel like what they're doing right now, what we've seen, 2 map losses, 1 map loss?
One.
IEM Sydney, that was against Mouse Sports. That's it.
Yeah, they were on a 14-map win streak after that, and the other loss came in Marseille. That was in a series to Liquid, where they lost the first map 16-14 Mirage, and they won Overpass and Cash 16-3, 16-3. So for Astralis, a lot of these games haven't even really been close in their wins, and surprisingly so, it's been their very, very strong CT sides, right? Even the old Astralis, when they were dominating, it was more of a case of very good strategies on the T side, right? Very good calls, good adjustments, everyone doing their job. But here it's been impressive all around.
And that's the kind of what is so scary for every team. You speak to these players around the venue, you do just hear admiration for what Astralis have done.
Everyone had the vibe, right, going into Marseille that they were the team to beat, and then they went and proved it. I think the thing is we haven't seen the peak of Astralis yet because they haven't had to get tested. If you don't get tested, you can just do the basics. You just do your prep on the other team, you just do your default strategies, maybe run your game plan. You don't need to go into those pocket strats that you're saving. So here, if FaZe are actually going to test them, they're going to push them to the limit, I think we're going to see even more strats come out of the back pocket.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah.
You think that they've kind of still got a couple of pages we haven't seen from the strat book?
Well, I don't think they've been saving anything, but when you look at their CT side's been so dominant, they didn't have to play that many rounds on the T side, right? A lot of times, Astralis even, that was their weakness. They were losing a lot of pistols. Now they're even winning pistols, gaining momentum, right? So they don't have to play 15 rounds on T side. They play maybe 2 or 3 gun rounds, and they close it out at the very start. So it's very scary for teams in that sense. There's not a whole lot to research, but I think for FaZe, it's a matter of, they're comfortable in this matchup. Even though this is not the FaZe anywhere close their peak, they still can come into this game and show us something that we haven't seen yet from them in this tournament.
And speaking of something we haven't seen, I think something to note is just the adjustments that they made on certain strategies. We actually have a comparison here of the old B-Execute they did on Overpass and the small adjustment that they've made on the new one.
Okay.
The strategies are almost exactly the same, but this here kind of revolutionized the way that teams were taking B. It's the flight path here with those Molotovs and this one smoke that Glaive throws in that I really want to focus on. You're going to get an overview look here in a second, and you see this is when Kjaerbye was in the team. Kjaerbye and Glaive would peel left, and they would attack the players in water and pit and try and frag out there and wrap onto the bomb site. Now, this is the old version. There's a smoke heaven, there's 2 Molotovs, Graffiti, and CT, and they just have a couple of simple flash with Zipnik coming through, pincering through Monster. Now, you're going to see the new version in a second, and you're going to go, Chad, what's different here? But it's the way that they attack the bomb site. Glaive is actually peeling out to the right.
So this is the new one?
This should be the new version. The smoke is actually a little bit deeper, and they actually peel out to the right-hand side, as opposed to the left-hand side. I think it should get to it eventually. There we go. Oh, this is the old version still. Okay, so this is where they peel left and they wrap around the bomb site in that direction. You're going to see on the new version, they're going to peel around to the right. But the sentiment here is, it's just small adjustments to strats that they have that teams don't really know how to deal with it.
And that's very good because this is like a set, this is what we call a set piece. And that's when someone is studying you, and they look and they say, okay, so when this smoke and these Molotovs fall, they're going to peel left, they're going to try and pinch us in water. And then you just make an adjustment, you throw the same thing, they think it's the same execute, and they try to counter you, and in fact, you're one step ahead and already...
This should be it here. Yeah.
5 people all facing the same direction, all with nades in their hands. One good flashbang, and I'd imagine everything's just disastrous.
Well, the hero of this strat is actually the Xyp9x Molotov sandbags, round in, round out, right? That sets the pace. It means that they can take water, and once he sets that tone, teams, they're going to stay away and clear that up. Here they are. See, they peel out to the right-hand side. They take the duel against the monster players instead of taking the duel against the pit players. This here, like I said, small adjustment. Just a tiny adjustment there, because if those monster players stayed there, they wrapped around pit, the duel's actually better for them, because they have they're going to take them coming up the high ground. They see the top of their head. They have a more advantageous duel, the CTs, in that environment.
Yeah, and so Overpass was where that gorgeous execute, and we do know some real crazy stuff that Astralis have got. I was speaking to Rain just last night, and he was saying their HEs, man. Their HEs are ridiculous. If Rain is getting annoyed by HEs, I haven't seen that man smile or look angry at any point in his life, so he's just neutral. And he was you really struggling with these nades.
Yeah, and especially someone like Rain, who we regarded as one of the best players in the world on the CT side of Overpass, right? Him and Fur being aggressive a long time ago. Now we have FaZe vetoing Overpass. We have SK not even seeing them in the playoffs. But yeah, I think unfortunately for Astralis, that's going to be the veto yet again for FaZe when we come into it. But still, you have examples like this on almost every map for Astralis. They're just such a good team. With preparation, with changing things up every time from tournament to tournament, that make it so difficult for teams to study them and prepare for them.
Does talking vetoes get a little devalued now? It's a best of 5, just because we just have to start talking about the order. But just to rehash the bans for me.
Well, I think it's still going to be Overpass for FaZe, and that might be interesting what it is going to be for Astralis. We've seen them veto Mirage for the majority of the tournament, but that's because they were facing Mousesports. Do they want to veto Cash because FaZe always picks it? We've seen they're strong on Cash as well, beating Mousesports dominantly, beating Fnatic dominantly. So I don't know if that's them feeling our Cash might be better than we thought, or let's not give it to FaZe. They're most comfortable on that map.
I think while Astralis have the luxury to veto whatever they want, FaZe actually can throw in a curveball, right? Because they have been really good at Overpass historically. It's just not something that's clicking for them now. Sure, if they want to leave that in instead of something else that Astralis look more prepared on, because right now FaZe's map pool in terms of best of 5 is very
Target
weak.
a strength perhaps instead.
One of the more interesting swing maps in this final might be Train. We've seen Astralis veto it time and time again. I think also again playing against Mousesports, they're pretty good on that map. So you don't want to play them necessarily on Train, and we'll see how they feel versus FaZe here and who picks it or is maybe just left to be the 5th map.
Let's have a little look then. Let's take a look at this veto process. Let's see if I can summon it with my magical veto hands. There it is. So bye-bye Nuke.
Yeah, there you go.
FaZe,
so
you said it.
They've gone off script, right? And Nuke is one that even takes more, I guess, teamwork and strategy than that of Overpass, right? At least Overpass, if NiKo has a blinder of a game, if Guardian's hitting everything with the AWP, they can contest. Nuke, they actually need opening moves just to get ground to find trades and force Astralis to rotate.
Astralis will take out Mirage.
Yeah, that's an interesting one from FaZe. I guess I don't want to think that they looked at that Mousesports game and that scared them off, because, that was just a very dominant performance on the CT side. You don't really think that can be repeated as easily, but maybe, as Chad said, they just don't have the confidence in their own Nuke.
So let's just reveal them all now, and we can kind of take a look at the order and talk
stock.
about it. Yeah, exactly, take stock. So as we take a walk through it, FaZe got the first pick, so they'll be choosing which battleground we venture into first. We have Cash, Overpass, Astralis pick. That, I cannot wait for that Overpass. We're guaranteed to see it as well. Train, as Janko was talking about, and then, oh my God, that's a spicy ending if we ever get there. Inferno and Dust 2.
I think the interesting thing here is Train being the 3rd map in this scenario means that we probably will or could see a 4th, because I can't see the FaZe guys being flat on all of these ones. Now, the first 2, Case should be a brawl. That's where we're going to get a really good indication on if FaZe are here to play or not. That's where they need to step up individually and show us that maybe they've done a little bit of research, maybe they've gone on 1 or 2 pocket strategies, and they've got things, because that is their home map at this point in the tournament. The Overpass one should be a punish. They should get absolutely manhandled based off everything we've seen. And then Train, if Case is a close game, I'm expecting potential, could be an upset there.
So, Yankee, you were talking about Train, and it is going to be there potentially the last map. If as Chad is suggesting, Cash could be close, Overpass a stomp. Train, just kind of rehash exactly what you were saying there. You're suggesting that we didn't get to see Astralis looking
Yeah, I mean, they just didn't play it, right? They have other maps that they pick, and when it came to a third map, it was a strong map for their opponents, so they just veto it in the second phase. But you look at their team, they have all the ingredients for the map, right? Have a good B player in Zipex. They have a great operating device who can move around a lot, even a secondary opera now in Dupree. Some of the iconic Astralis games did come on their T sides, and their wins came on T sides late in the game, so we know they have a good handle of that too. I think for FaZe here, what you want to see coming straight off of Cash, right, because they start on the T side. That game versus Fnatic, where they won convincingly, I think that was a bit deceptive. They won Pistol 3-0 up. Next 2 gun rounds, you have no idea what they wanted to do. It looked like us playing the show match. Like, let's just stand around and let's just go away at some point and hope for the best, right? Not terrible use of utility. Yes, you want to go for fights, but at least give your players favorable duels, right? Give them favorable fights. So what you want to see, which would be a good sign for this finals, for it to be competitive, is see FaZe with a clear plan coming into those early gun rounds on T side.
And we are going to be getting closer and closer to this grand final kicking off. I think our boy Stunner has gone and climbed the longest ladder in the Kudos Bank Arena and is hanging out at the View.
Yes, the Vodafone View is exactly where I find myself, Alex Machine Richardson. I'm here with Tweede. We're going to try to make some sense of this grand final. FaZe and Astralis, where do we even start with this one, Tweede?
It's going to be a tough one to decide, but Astralis just looked so dominant yesterday all throughout the series. A little bit shaky on Inferno, but it's just one well-oiled machine.
What can you do, right? Well, let's kind of break it down even further. We've got 2 players that we've identified as heavy hitters. We can kind of look at them now, Dupree and Guardian. Now, if we look at the numbers, Guardian is reigning in high here with the multi-frags. 26 to be exact. I mean, this hasn't been the best showing from FaZe thus far. However, they are now in the grand finals. So, I mean, overall, Dupree, talk to me about Dupree.
Dupree is the crucial part of Astralis, as well as however expect. It's just, one guy steps down, the other guy steps up again.
I mean, he does have all the necessary parts in terms of teammates. They are set up for success. They really well-oiled machine, and we've seen them run through teams here at this event. Seemingly could be the case today if FaZe can't get a cohesion and get a good mesh together. But I'm going to have to say Guardian is out for blood. He's in good spirits. We just high-five backstage. He's really feeling himself right now. What do you think, man?
Guardian has to play the crucial part. As I said yesterday, FaZe is looking shaky.
FaZe is looking a little shaky, and you are looking a little shaky too if you're not using hashtag PlayFaster on your favorite social medias. We did take a look at a poll, or excuse me, rather asked you about a poll, and well, perhaps we can just see where this one lands up. I'm pretty sure it's going to be really heavy in the way of Astralis, though.
It should be, considering yesterday's performance of Astralis and FaZe.
It's really not that lopsided. 51% in the favor of the Astralis camp, but either way, I'm going to have to side here. I got to go with the boys in FaZe. I think they can put it together.
I'm going to take the other side, Astralis.
Oh, well, you said it.
I go with the device, though.
Kudos Bank Arena. It is almost time to kick this bad boy off. We're going to a grand final, a best of 5, one not to forget. We're going to enjoy the view here from the Vodafone View.
When Astralis won a lot, people want to adapt to their style. The way they play very tactical CS and have a game plan from 1 to 10 rounds. So people were adapting to how they're playing. And then we came along with a unique style of playing very explosive CS, very individual skill. And you can also see tendencies that Astralis have built in, that players have freedom to take more duels. So I think people are looking at each other when you look at competition. How are they improving and how are they the best team in the world? And can you copy some of it or can you not at all?
I think what makes it a really good matchup is that they have this explosive play style that we had a rough time playing against. It seems like we have figured it more out, how to play against it, be more aggressive ourselves, not just stay back and wait for them, but sometimes also get into their heads. I think it works really well for us. We saw that last event at DreamHack Marseille where we won quite comfortably, I would say. But this is something really different because now it's a grand final.
It's so funny when you walk in the tunnel, you are laughing, you're making jokes with each other, and I understand all what they're saying anyway. And then when you get on the stage, there's nothing called friendship anymore. It's just about being the best you can. They're probably gonna say some bad words about me while playing, and I'm gonna say the same while we're playing against them, 100%.
He got benched on the team and he then joined up FaZe and they did really good, so they have some kind of rivalry. I just like to play against them because they're a great team. Xist, he has surprised me a lot this event. He has played really good, so that's gonna be nice to see if we can bring that to the grand final as well. I hope he won't, but we will see.
We have adapted and improved since group stage. We knew we had some issues in the beginning and we have worked those out. It's always a grudge match, no matter when we play Astralis, if we are top 10 in the world or top 2 in the world. So no matter what, there's always going to be grudge, and it's always going to be a bittersweet feeling if one of the guys are winning.
The Australian crowd was amazing, I think, compared to somewhere around the world. I think you put it up the top. There was so much energy. Everyone was just, your best mate.
I walked in this crowd, I was like, whoa, this is like literally insane.
It was crazy just watching some of the best CS on, the home turf.
So tournaments like this don't come around often. You want to witness like how big this thing is. Esports is wild. It's definitely something you don't want to miss.
There was so much noise, so much excitement, so much hype. You could just feel it when you were sitting there. It was just it made you so excited to be there.
It was just an absolute no-brainer to make sure that such a successful event continued to build a legacy here in Australia. Now we're returning with 3 days of live action, just a massive tournament.
So we're talking 250 gaming PCs, over 500 SSDs, 112 players including managers.
There's a lot of planning and preparation that needs to go into not only the event that the audience sees, but also making sure that in the back end, the players are having a good experience, that they enjoy Australia, because we want them to have fun as well.
There are a few stops in the whole circuit that are very special for different people. Sydney for me is one of them.
I think that's what kind of separates us from the rest of the world, where people here cheer for great Counter-Strike. It makes you proud to be an Australian, that we can put on a show in our own, It
feels like I'm on home turf when you guys are shouting so much in the crowd. And I just want to say I appreciate all of you guys, even if you're against us or with us. You are so amazing, Australia.
Australia, this is your event. This is the Intel Extreme Masters Sydney.
Just Xyp9x alive, and out of being pressured, actually crumbles Xyp9x. All right, Clutch Master, let's see what you can do. Kio's giving away a bit of the game here, and there he is, Xyp9x. It's a lifeline, it's a window. Xyp9x can get a bomb plant, he could do something with this.
He absolutely does. And there it is. More magic from Xyp9x. He's gonna get the plant, and it's NiKo, he's fooled.
He waits. The Molly burns, and he now knows. Oh, NiKo! He tries it, but nothing comes through. It's Xyp9x from start to finish.
This is fast-paced. There's a headshot. Oh, it's the second. And the third. Sprays them all down. It's the diffuser falling. Wow! That is incredible. That might be the game in itself. An absolutely brilliant play from Fallen. He's got Cole walking in there.
Shiz just got absolutely real here in a packed out Kudos Bank Arena. We are ready for a grand final, a best of 5. The winner taking home this trophy. Let us bring in your teams. First, Astralis. And taking on Astralis is FaZe, one of the most talented rosters we've ever seen, even though it has been rejigged. And this is a matchup that never gets old. There's personal rivalries, there's rivalries between the orgs as well. And this is going to be a great best of 5. On my right, Astralis, a team you could quite probably call not just the best at this tournament, but the best in the world at the moment. And you could say they'll go on and take the Intel Grand Slam over the next few tournaments. Let's find out what you, Sydney, think about who is going to win. Do you think it's going to be FaZe? Do you think it's going to be Astralis? One more time. FaZe! Astralis! Let's get a grand final underway. Sydney, one more time. It's a best of 5. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on!
For those of you in the arena and for those of you at home, I hope you've got yourself your snacks, you've got your beverages, you've told your mum, your girlfriend either come and watch or I'm AFK for 5 hours because you're just going to be sitting down and watching this delightful best of 5 between some of the very best. karrigan, he doesn't need a flag to get the crowd rowdy. He ain't got no pandering here. Just good old-fashioned hype.
Yeah, always the showman, karrigan, isn't he? But he's going to need to put on something special today if they want to have a chance against Astralis here. They have a tall task, and it is a hard thing to say FaZe being an underdog in a grand final. I think the last time we would have said that was in Ulvensa for the Pro League finals.
That's a good shout.
Yeah, absolutely. That time versus SK Gaming, another opponent against which they struggled. And maybe one of the silver linings for FaZe, the 2 maps that they did lose to Astralis in Marseille are the 2 vetoes, Nuke and Mirage. We won't be seeing those 2 maps. So maybe they fare up better on some of the other maps we have in the pool at the moment. But the story of this grand final is definitely going to be FaZe need to step up their game. If they play up to the level we've seen at any point in this tournament or even in France, this is going to be a stomp for Astralis. So they absolutely need to play the best series we'd exist ever since he joined.
I think something we need to note here so people at home can really get the context of this, the FaZe guys are going to come out here and just have fun. They're going to play a loose brand of Counter-Strike, right? These guys are individually insane. They're some of the best players we have in the world. This trio right here, you could argue, is the best trio in any team we have at the moment. Sure, they're not all showing up at the same time when they need to, but when you just let these guys loose, when you allow them to be free, that's when you actually get the best out of them. Now, sure, they do need a little bit of structure. They do need those opening strategies. If NiKo runs out and kills 3 people, what are you going to do about that, right? The answer on the other side of the server, MagicBoy, Device, and Dupree, 1, 2, 3, the top-rated players right now in the whole tournament. So they need to step up. They need to continue what they're doing, and they are the stars for Astralis.
It is going to be so beautiful to see such different styles clashing in the server. You are going to have a loose FaZe clan. They haven't got their full roster, of course, with the absence of Voloff. They brought in Exist as the stand-in, and they are coming in as underdogs where they will just be putting that aim to good use. They're going to be having some fun. There's going to be giggles. There's going to be karrigan trying to keep things lighthearted because a best of 5 is a marathon, and FaZe, they are going to struggle to even get off the starting mark.
Definitely, and listen, FaZe has had their fair share of best of 5s, you know, over the last 6 months or a year or so, so they definitely know how the momentum can swing in a final. They know that it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? So hopefully they will also know that if they get off to a bad start, even though it's their own pick, they need to consolidate themselves, they need to keep grinding, keep trying, because Astralis is not going to let up.
Astralis have been relentless, Chad, and I want to understand exactly your expectations. You know the maps now. You've already made it clear Astralis should be winning this unless FaZe do something different, but I just want to understand how much resistance you think is going to go down now you know the order of those maps.
We really just have to take in present form, right? I can sit here and I can say that these guys are amazing players and, you know, karrigan calls and all this kind of... But the thing is, the current form and what we've seen throughout the tournament, FaZe have looked sloppy. They haven't looked a better version of themselves. Astralis, on the other hand, ever since DreamHack Masters Marseille, they've looked absolutely phenomenal. I'm expecting them to take this and show FaZe right now that this is their era, this is their chance to take the Intel Grand Slam. It's going to be a 3-0 stomping, Alex.
Oh my goodness, yes, FaZe will be stepping up to that plate. Janko, your final thoughts, is it similar to that of Chad's that we do have the impending Astralis era upon us, and winning this would be a step in that direction?
Unfortunately it is, Alex. I want it for the crowd, I want it for everyone watching, really for FaZe to step up and for us to have a competitive grand final here. I'm going to be a bit more optimistic than Chad. I'm going to give FaZe one map. I think they're going to click on one map, potentially even the first one, but I think Astralis is just too good at the moment, 3-1 for them.
It's going to be such a tall task to overcome, and don't forget, IEM history for FaZe has been rather spotted. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Potentially turns now, Alex. You know, they lost 2 grand finals that they were supposed to win. Everything was for them, and they lost maybe now.
I love it. That's perfect, Janko. Poetic indeed. FaZe, when they're supposed to win, they couldn't. Let's see what happens when it's on its head. Of course, here in Down Under, Astralis FaZe Clan, map 1.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! ready to crown an Intel Extreme Masters champion! Live into the pistol round. Astralis on the defense and FaZe taking up the offense. Rain's gonna be boosted up, taking control of middle, attempting to with that P250, taking some shots, keeping them honest, and it's very, very patient for FaZe.
It certainly is, and Glaive the mastermind with utility, but Magisk the first to fall. The first blow has been given. It's Rain towards Magisk, and Rain looking dominant towards middle, being assertive with presence. Building up here, and Glaive on the other side, gonna be caught off guard, quite possibly. He's checking for middle, but Rain a little closer than expected. But while this begins, you're seeing that 8 hit off to the side, but Rain's a one-man army. The smoke's gone up, and he's keeping them real busy. Gonna make that rotation very tricky. Xyp9x doing what he can to keep him away. For now, bomb going down. FaZe flooded the site.
And this is a very quiet take of the A bomb site. There was no real defense mounted. Normally you get some shots off, and now they have to rotate over, and we see these vintage retakes all the time. But Rain with his P250, 2 players are being dedicated to hunt him down. It's got to come quick. Rain can buy a lot of time here, and he's surviving, not taking enough, and they have to go aggressive. They have to hunt him down. Kerrigan with 1 kill towards the A bomb site, but Rain does it all! A double kill, and that should seal the pistol for FaZe.
Rain so stoic in approach. He looked calm, cool, and collected throughout all of that. And he completely dismembered Astralis from start to finish. When they tried to get back towards it, when that bomb was planted, he was in their way. And maybe this is a good beginning for FaZe. Maybe this is the style they want to bring, that ferocity that keeps you guessing. And look at this, that follow-up.
That's so beautiful. He played that so perfectly, and this is what the desk was talking about. They need Rain. Rain had some quiet games yesterday. Everyone remembers cheering for his first kill about 10, 11 rounds into the game. He can't get to that slow of a start. Has to speed things up, and that opening pick did everything for FaZe on Cash. It's Astralis now on the back foot. Device has the scout. The Deagles are out. We saw Magisk get some beautiful shots of this yesterday. And there's another one, the follow-up. He continues his tear.
Device up top, tagged good. Rain knocked back now. FaZe not having an easy time of this. Astralis is going to make them work for their meal. The 4v5. FaZe still have plenty of options available, still have that utility to hand, but Astralis, as said, locking this one down.
Readjusting across the map as well. Rain is so battered, it's going to be tough for them now. They have utility. They can actually close the gap if needed. dupreeh is actually pushed out of the B bomb site, and now he's going to start getting bold. He's going to start pushing at any moment, especially as pressure is felt, but the vents are open.
This is readable as well. If you're Karrigan, you kind of know what these guys like to do. So smoke towards middle. This is going to put pressure because Device, Glaive, they already started to play away from this. But Glaive to find exist in middle. That's going to make it trickier. NiKo, Rain, and Karrigan this time vying for options, but it looks like a lean towards A. Is it Xyp9x to the chest of Rain? He's going to be winded after that. It's NiKo and Karrigan going to try and pull this one back together, but they've only got 20 seconds. They've got the rifles. They have no utility. Their options are limited here, Jason. Device's eyes are trained on this.
This is the FaZe disaster. That's a good shot from Karrigan, though, but look at Xyp9x. He's biding his time. He's waiting. A flashbang going to come in. There's only 8 seconds. All he needs to do is kill one. They haven't even entered the site.
Xyp9x needs to land that shot as soon as he hears this. And the Deagle, it can be a cruel mistress, but he gets the job done, and Astralis turn it on a dime. We're back all even at 1-1. The gun's recovered too. Astralis doing what's required and keeping FaZe humble. No build, no instant way back into this. No springboard effect or run.
This is what FaZe is going to have to manage. This is why we think their T-sides have looked, the Des talked about, have looked so weak at times throughout this tournament. That's very unconvincing. Everyone spread out across the map. Nothing convincing. It seemed like there wasn't one set plan. It was kind of players being spread out and eventually just traded off by Astralis. Once they get that opening pick, they can start sacrificing 1-for-1 and still come out on top, and it's done perfectly, especially with the clock winding down. FaZe has to avoid that in the future. There needs to be one voice dictating where they go, and that's got to be Karrigan.
Looks like Xyp9x is the one to be getting the torrent of the T side if they do come his way, but he's not sticking around too close. You have to respect those Deagles. You have to respect what FaZe can do. And the smoke goes up. Xyp9x does have an angle on this one Molotov, and I think he still has a flash to hand, so towards door in case they were trying to split it, but no, it is going to be that flood from main. One, he needs more. Going to spray, and that's good for 2. The Deagle to hand now, just buying time. The support is on its way, but Karrigan CZ is not bad at all.
Oh, that's a bold
He's
plan.
got away with it.
Yeah, he has.
Kerrigan, how have you done that one? A 2v4, unlikely as it seems, but a nice bit of a way to play for Kerrigan there. Somehow getting the bomb down, but more importantly, Xyp9x getting all of the opponents down.
Yeah, all 5 kills and ace in just the 3rd round of this grand finals. That's a good start for Xyp9x, and he's not someone that you want to start feeling confident. Incredible individually, incredible mind games being played. He's one of the smartest players that we have. This is beautiful. Obviously, the benefit, a little bit of luck as he gets that second one through the body of NiKo. But the plant is going to be quite nice for FaZe. Even though they don't get a whole lot of production on that kind of a buy, the plant is going to help them recuperate some of those losses moving forward.
Well, upgraded pistols again for the T-side, but nothing too much, quite reserved. P250's a smoke on Kerrigan, but that's about your lot. But Astralis, they're not a team to make too many mistakes on these rounds. We've seen them being very, very reserved in nature, very smart in approach, and the stack towards middle. Ooh,
oh, that's brutal.
That's a headache the next day right there. So many players chunked down. Device trying to capitalize on that, but it's going to be probably Magisk to handle it. Spots them down by the drop. Flash comes in, allows him a second or two to adjust. And back in we go. Tagged up, sticks around, sprays it down! And it's a massacre in middle. NiKo's doing what he can, but it is nowhere near enough. Magisk this time with 4 individually very, very beneficial rounds for Astralis. So you've got players now feeling good about this.
Here we go. This is where you got to see what the game plan that FaZe is going to bring out. This is the round they've talked about and Kerrigan has thought about overnight. That very first gun round when you're challenging head-to-head, and Guardian's going to have that AWP, 4 AK-47s on the rest of the players. Even actually Astralis with a good amount of AKs. Yeah, that's a nice sequence for Magisk. He was great yesterday, and if he continues, that's a player who spent a lot of time really struggling to find impact in the pro scene on his former teams, and now he's got to be loving it. Astralis poised, and they want to get aggressive. The defense gets the opening pick, and Guardian is shut down early.
What a hefty blow to be given as well. Losing out on someone who could be so instrumental. Guardian, so capable of creating space for your team and opportune moments to strike, but that's been ripped away so early on. Bear in mind, Astralis still have all that utility that they want. They've got everything still beside them. We want to see that kind of, I guess, consolidated thought from FaZe on approach. We want to see something from them here.
The value of that kill is so incredible. One flashbang and dupreeh pushes out and finds it. And they have so much utility still, and with the player advantage. I don't know how FaZe is going to come back into this one. Astralis able to get that frag, and dupreeh just sneaks away. No damage even being dealt. There's a good pick. NiKo through the door. We know we're going to see this battle throughout the game. NiKo lurking. Wins initially, but he is brought down very low. He's got to go passive here. Nade from Magisk is looked on point, but doesn't do a whole lot of damage.
Yeah, Rain's pretty far forward here, a little further ahead from the others, but looking for his chance to find a way in, but Magisk is there. The flash is excellent for Magisk as well. Might have been a team flash that caught Rain quite possibly. Bit of a blunder, really, if anything, and Magisk allowed now to play this one out. He's got control on this. They're sneaking their way through. The flash actually hinders him more than helps, and Exist they're going to punish. Bit of awkward action with the old utility going on, and Kerrigan's going to tear it ahead. This is good for FaZe. The bomb's on Kerrigan, and he's not crossed yet. Glaive stopped that, now causing issues. And look who's on the flank. dupreeh tries to get ahead of himself there. And Exist stops it. This could be the round that keeps FaZe building back. Maybe Glaive can do it himself. Flashed up somehow. Somehow comes out of that still alive, but the time. 7 seconds, Jason. It's not a great deal, but with the bomb planted, the ops plant's not bad here for FaZe.
No, it's actually beautiful. Even NiKo with low HP, he's got the angle at Forklift. That's the critical point you want to hold. He can have all the information, and Exist doesn't even have to try and help him necessarily. He can just play for himself. Now they know, and Exist is going to hide. It's all down to Glaive. He's got to go find the kills, and he's not aware of where NiKo's gone, and it's going to be easy. Hidden in the cubby, and a single shot. That's a second round for FaZe. They're back on the board. A very slow-paced play towards that A-bomb site.
You felt with Guardian going down, that could have all gone very differently, but somehow they recovered. The flashes coming through hindered Rain, and I think it even hindered Magisk to a degree in that round too. There was a couple that went a little bit astray there.
You can see the idea. I think actually, Rain, that was a team flash. That was a mistimed peek into the bomb site for him, or maybe a misunderstanding of where the flash exactly from NiKo was going from door. But still, I mean, the fact that they're walking into the bomb site, Astralis could never really get a good read on how many players were committed there. They couldn't get the rotations over in time. Double up set up this round for Astralis. Glaive's got one of them, and look at the aggression towards door. Here comes another flash, and is NiKo going to be ready? He doesn't turn. He's completely blind, and Astralis have opened up. The game plan for the defensive side is this aggression to find single picks.
That was so Magisk, you were lucky to have your life. Guardian almost had you there. Spray comes in, but that was purely constructed to find players like NiKo. 3 players put towards that. A complete switch up of approach. dupreeh pressuring Millia to the solo AWP on Glaive on B, and then the other, of course, with Device. But that is a head to claim.
You can tell they've done their research, can't you? This is
Just a little bit.
Yes, this is really, really cool from Astralis. Now, they weren't able to convert it the first time when they picked up Guardian. We'll see if Nico's out of the action. That is a piece of aggression out of FaZe that they can no longer use. The AK-47 much better at encroaching onto bomb sites than the AWP. Perfect counter flashes are going to delay things, and there's another kill. FaZe is being whittled down.
Yeah, the Molotovs are hindering approach as well. Magisk is going to be swept aside. Rain looking for the fall. Oh, he gets it too! Device! You blink and you miss that one, and Rain this time is unleashed. Finally put to bed by Xyp9x, but this is dominance from FaZe till now. It is still a 2v2, but the bomb has crossed towards side. Guardian desperate to try and control this cross, but pressure now starting to be applied. He takes 1 point of that away. That's dupreeh gone. Glaive trying to play this one back in. Nade goes through. Guardian gets a little damage, but Glaive, he's going in quick on this one. Eyes up one. It's not good enough. It exists there, and FaZe finding form when it's needed.
This is what we mentioned in the pregame. Astralis plays that so well. They get the opening pick, they get the perfect counter flash as well, they get the second follow-up kill in on the entry into the bomb site. But the one thing that can counter all of that can counter a perfect situation, is just the skill from FaZe. So many different players that can create, so many players that can just out-duel you, and exactly what happens. Rain gets a little bit of luck through the smoke, obviously, but I mean, you can't argue with the results of that round. It's now tied up 3-3 as we get a timeout coming in. Called by FaZe as, I mean, remember they stumbled earlier in an anti-eco as well with the AK-47s. They got to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Probably the point of discussion going forward as well. How do we continue this? Clearly aware of what they're coming up against. No second guessing about the money. They know what the situation is. The buy's been made from FaZe, and on the other side, money, of course, is a real premium for Astralis. Don't have a great deal of it, sitting around 2K, so most of them absconding from anything.
Xizt going to lead the way. Doesn't want to get too aggressive. They've got a couple picks towards this B bomb site. And this is much, much better for an anti-eco round. You really have to be happy about this one. 4 players for FaZe lining up towards this B bomb site. That spam happens every single round, so it doesn't give away the game. And they're just going to get into this site. They're going to play the trades. They're going to let the MAC-10 lead the way. Nico, even though he gets damaged a little bit, he's able to find a kill through the smoke, and they're all going down. Even Device being checked upon by Karrigan.
You want to be seeing that MAC-10 getting the damage done as well. Build up those funds, try and stabilize that economy. Xizt being nice play, just catching anyone trying to come through. Connector in middle, free, and USPS, not going to happen. Good stuff from FaZe. 5 alive, bomb plants, money being built on SMGs. It's everything you want to be seeing from a round like that.
I think you got to be happy right now if you're FaZe and you're hitting the scoreboard. It's still early going, but Xizt on 7. Karrigan's going to be on 6 and Rain with 5. Those are players at times that get criticized for their lack of frag and lack of production, but here it's looking good. At least to start with. It's Nico and Guardian to round out the bottom of that scoreboard, and we know they can produce when called upon.
Got to be looking at Device as well to start building. He's had a quiet beginning in this matchup. Not yet to really get his mark on the scoreboard, but plenty of time for that yet. And a quick hit towards A. Xyp9x is completely blind to all of this, somehow still alive, and oh, they're getting denied at the door, but no, they've stuck their way through. Guardian Xizt, power on forward. It's a 3v3, and again, so much potency with FaZe. And the bomb planted. Nico holding the back lines. It's a real shutdown here.
I think they might have to save on this one. They don't have any kits either. Very light on utility. They might stick around to try and get 1 kill and see if they can make something possible. That's a great call coming out of the FaZe camp. Abusing the fact that there's not a whole lot of economy in Astralis. They don't have the Molotovs to slow it down, and ooh, Guardian misses one. That's going to allow them to move forward, and actually they're going to go for this, at least initially. Flashbang in, and actually the follow-up from his teammate blinds Guardian.
No kit on Astralis, so time is of the essence. Glaive receives a face full of damage, and you've got to know when you're done, and it looks like Glaive certainly understands that. dupreeh might have overcommitted a little bit. He wants to get those guns away, and he might at least get 1. Not going to get any more. And it will be round on the board for FaZe here, no matter how you want to look at it. Astralis have to back away, and FaZe pick up the pace and pick up the round.
Maybe a superficial retake from the Astralis side of things, as maybe they're just trying to keep the FaZe players in the range of that bomb explosion. They got an extra kill at the end because of it, so try to take what guns away that they can. The problem is that M4 is almost at this point way more valuable than the AKs are for FaZe. Astralis being beat up as the losing bonus builds. It's now at 4 rounds. 1 more and it'll be maxed out. Device, as you mentioned, still yet to get a kill. Such a crucial piece of this Astralis puzzle. He has that AWP. We know he can turn these rounds on his head. And Device has gone towards the B bomb site. He wants to find an open duel.
If he goes too far though, look at Guardian on the other side, aware that maybe that AWP was still being retained. How is he going to try and use it? How can I get around that? There's your answer. It's like Guardian's willing to be around for this, and Device might just walk into it. Got Glaive at impression. There it is. Guardian, you can see in the kill feed, does find Device, reading him like a book, going to shut that chapter on him. And even though Exist did go down, you've got to feel that FaZe should be able to pull themselves together here, but we've seen these rounds be very deadly. Xyp9x does have the CZ. We do have some armor. Not much else, though, beyond that. M4, of course, on Glaive. Smokes go up, mollies go out. Xyp9x is forced out of position, and hit comes in towards the site. Spraying in his Rain again. Doesn't even to see him. Glaive managed to get punished, and Guardian defining Xyp9x. It's all looking very good here for FaZe. They've stabilized. There was a little bit of a threat for a little bit of time, but the best thing Astralis can do right now is ensure that dupreeh keeps hold of that AWP.
It's pretty nasty. A really good start for Rain. A couple of those kills, he's been great, even with the smoke in his face at taking control of that cross. And yeah, they would love to take this off out of dupreeh. Guardian so fast at those shots, and obviously saw something that dupreeh didn't. He's shut down. The AWP is taken away, and even with the full losing bonus now, it's going to be another expensive purchase for this defensive side. Device is going to have that AWP on the board, and I think we're going to get an Astralis timeout here as they really need to talk things over. It feels at the moment like FaZe is trying to set up for a mid or B play later on. They're really enjoying this A bomb site, having a lot of success here. The question always becomes, when do they switch things up? When do they go elsewhere and completely fool Astralis?
I guess that's the question with Astralis right now is, how do we deal with this? Can we control this A hit? Is that something we can work upon? Initially, it looked like Xyp9x really had that in check. He was doing very nicely for himself, but once it got rolling, very tough to get back in towards it. So discussion time for Astralis. They need to work out how they want to approach the rest of this game because FaZe are going from strength to strength.
The weird part for Astralis at the moment that they might be discussing is the fact that that game plan they started with of ways to get that early pick on the CT side, the push out to get Guardian in the first gun round, and then the push towards NiKo in the door the following, they didn't win those rounds. So even though the plan worked initially, falling back into the bomb sites, they still got punished for it later on. So it's a very weird situation to be in. There's the early peek, and Guardian's going to win that. Too fast for Device.
2 rounds in a round now. We've seen Guardian outdoing Device. That's going to be really getting Device's head, I can imagine, on this stage. And look at the damage. Magisk is the walking wounded, 16 HP. The Molotov goes in. Exist puts him out of his misery. And he wants some more. Stone cold. He was looking for that, but Xyp9x does win out at least. Shuts that avenue down, and dupreeh is trying to keep together this A site. It's looking rather flimsy, this defense, but somehow they've kept it just about together.
That's a big kill for dupreeh to get. NiKo was looking to kind of take advantage of all the mayhem that was caused, all the different rotations. He thought he found a gap in it, but dupreeh gets there just in time. But it's put him out of position to help Glaive. He's all alone in a 1-on-3, and that smoke isn't going to stop anybody. Rain's going to wrap around the bomb site. There's another smoke in his face, and actually just spraying through the corner. Great play, it's Xyp9x. Did he create any magic? Low HP on both Astralis players, and it's desperate now for them.
Desperate times do call for desperate measures. Rain and Karrigan, of course, sitting pretty. Oh, Rain just doing so well for this side currently. He's reading the game really nicely. dupreeh, again, put into this position. Well, how much can he get done? What can he do with this? Bomb plant comes in. He knows one's on site and one obviously isn't, but he's creeping his way out. Just going to bet, pray that Rain is not looking towards him right now. Karrigan not stepping away from default for a second. High flash. Forces him out. Karrigan's there. Well controlled by FaZe, and this T side is something we haven't seen from FaZe in a while. This is a bit of a different look and something we've been desperately asking for to come out from them.
That was really cool. I mean, they go patient. Once they take that bomb site, they're very, very slow to actually get in and get the bomb plant. They want to make sure they know exactly where Astralis is coming from on those retakes before they kind of make their decision. So, well done. This FaZe is looking much, much different from what we saw throughout the rest of the tournament. They've had to fight and struggle the whole way to get here, dropping a lot of maps. Astralis, on the other hand, with relative ease, they went straight to the semifinals out of groups. They only lost 1 map in this whole event leading up to the grand finals. That was an overtime loss to Mousesports just yesterday. Otherwise, it's been a pretty comfortable ride for them.
A little bit of CT side aggression towards main, but they're trying to make use of what limited they have on Astralis, which is small amounts of utility and the upgraded pistols and the armor now on the other side, of course. Perfection of a buy. FaZe have it all. But they have struggled sometimes to have that kind of cohesion in these rounds, but at the moment it seems like it is locked in here for these guys. We've seen that real competitive mentality. Up and over the red box we go. Have a little look down, see if anyone's pushed up towards middle. This is good from FaZe, keeping a lot in mind here.
How far NiKo is. He knows he's been punished earlier, but he's going to love these fights. This is warm-up for him. Just a little heat check as Xyp9x and Device continue to challenge, and Device is just going to keep at an off angle. They're not able to connect with that until just now. The spray comes through. Down to just 3 players on Astralis, and that's really the danger point. They wanted to get aggressive and eliminate one of the extremities of this phase setup. Guardian going to be very aware of that smoke, and he spots out Xyp9x just as he pulls a nade. That's going to be frustrating, but he's pushed him back at the very least.
Ooh, damage on Rain there, but you've got to see more than that. We've got Deagle still up. dupree's done some terrible things with his before. Magic's going to find his connection, but still staying alive is 4 for FaZe. Bomb site under control. dupreeh gets shot in the back. Not going to get away with it this time, and Magic's locked away. Into the cupboard we go, and Exist drills him through the door.
8-3, Astralis, they need to get started right now. This is running away with them. Not a whole lot of time left for them to claw themselves back into this. It's going to be another AWP on Device, but this is a disaster for him. He's 0-9 at the moment. He has yet to get on the board, and that's such a, you know, we always talk about Device, the way he opts, it's so unique, and he's so mobile, but if he can't find that first pick in these rounds, if Guardian's going to continue to outduel him, he's going to have no impact.
We might just see it again as well. Both AWPers going towards the same side of things. Not quite aggressive for Device, clearly not, you know, had the spawn or feeling it out quite the same, but we do see the mid-aggression coming through as well. The counter boost could be something they consider down the line, but Rain is doing so much damage. Can't get away from that though, as much as you might run and hide. The nade's coming through.
He looked up, he knew it was coming, he was waiting for it. He thought he might have enough space. Yeah.
Not gonna happen though, but still. 4v4. Not too much gain, not too much lost. Always tricky though for a CT side, because you do get spread pretty thin. Still have Device over by B, so he can be left to his own devices. Excuse the horrible pun. Glaive pushed up by middle and 2 towards A. So FaZe can still overwhelm wherever they go.
This is a really tough position for Glaive though. It's not ideal with no support. Xyp9x can rotate back and forth if Glaive gets some information, he can call him to at least bait, but that's a very, very exposed spot. Obviously wanting to stick around. I think Karrigan's going to end up throwing a little bit of a fake. Here comes the utility. We'll see if anyone bites on it. Molotov out as well. How much does he commit? Does he want to go for a kill? Because meanwhile, the B bomb site is where the real action is occurring.
If it's going to happen, it's got to be now for Device. He's going to steady himself. The deep breath before the hit comes in. The smokes, the Molotovs, it's all being made. The bait's there and he's falling for it. The Molotov burns, but he stands tall this time. First kill on the board and the support has arrived. Glaive swiftly gets round there, and the last 2 players for FaZe are struggling to find their approach. Device is doing what he needs to. It was a long time in the making, but those 2 kills were integral, and you can see that little breath to himself there, just knowing that, all right, job done now.
Yeah, sometimes the first is the hardest, and he's at least on the board now, so that can make him feel a little bit better, can calm down and get into the game now. A nice hold. That fake doesn't do nearly enough. Karrigan goes down without a fight. Still have the lead at 8-4, and they can still wreak some havoc here. They can still do a lot to the economy. If they're able to win this one, that reset. There is dupreeh and Device with plenty of money built up, but the other 3 players would be in a nightmare situation. It's going to come out pretty slow pace. Nothing given away by FaZe early on. Just a default spread across the map. And this time it's dupreeh and Glaive towards the B bomb site. Device is going to be in middle with Magisk.
Couple of early exchanges. No one really walking away too badly. Exist got a little bit. Magisk as well. But no harm, no foul thus far. No one finding an easy way in, but with dupreeh's aggression, that could be quite fun if they do go for this. They've got the double smokes probably being put down towards mid right now, it looks like, with NiKo and Rain in those sort of spots, but could be the case if they fancy it with the B lean to support, split through the vents. But 3 players, this could be read by Astralis. They might have full information or just an idea or an inkling as to this being the game plan. Maybe someone's heard something.
Well, usually there's some pressure being applied to Door if they're going to head towards that A bomb site. You know NiKo's going to be there. This time he's not. No one in A main either. So this is a really, really nice call from Astralis. A risk on the defense. Glaive actually breaks it up. There is those crisscross smokes, as you mentioned. It's only NiKo and Magisk goes hunting for the information. dupreeh can't find that first. Device in the bomb site. The nade could do it, but Exist backs off. He's got a hold, and there's another frag.
Yeah, Device keeps going. That's 2. The third would be perfect for him. The Guardian slips away into the night, but the spray through the wall. That'll do the job for you. And Astralis reading the play well, good positioning, and that's what you want from Device.
That's what you want from Xyp9x. 16-8. He's having a really nice start, and Device, you're exactly right. Inside the bomb site, not pressured, not forced out of his spot, just hits the easy shots, not going for anything crazy, playing within his means. And they're clawing back into this. Astralis has arrived on the defense, 5-8 now. And the last buy here for FaZe, Astralis might shatter their economy right at the end.
Well, it's move phase now. It's their turn to try and adjust, see what they can bring back through. The answer has clearly been given, and might be seeing that CT side aggression towards A main as well. Magisk there, raring to go. I think there might be a flash put through. Yeah, a couple going in, and off we go. But FaZe not really vying for that early, but they don't really have much step towards this map, and those deep nades working so well. Mousesports were punished by those as well.
The boost coming in now, and this, I think now you can see NiKo's edging over towards door. If he gets in there and he can actually cause some attention, they'll be able to mask if they want to move elsewhere across the map, but it's a delayed take towards mid. A lot of damage is done towards Guardian. Rain has already gotten out though, and if he can open things up, and he does it again, there goes Glaive, and now Guardian, he takes his moment. The spray forces Device off the angle, which gives Guardian the freedom, and Astralis has no information. They don't know how many bodies are out mid. They don't know if it's 0 or 5. And that's really going to hurt if they try and rotate into position.
It's only Rain really stepping forward so far, but we saw what he could do just on the opening round. Magisk on the other side. Not exactly unfamiliar with this. Ooh, Device just about gets away with his life, but it's Xyp9x who's going to deal with the flood again. 1, 2. He's actually going to readjust for the third, but NiKo reads it well, but by now they're looking rather slender in teammates. You only got Guardian and NiKo now. NiKo, though, wanting to do what he can, tries to pressure down towards Highway, but buying a couple of seconds for that to happen. There's a world where that kill came through and it'd be a different situation, but it is a 2v1. But Guardian has looked supreme against Device until now. But he's got to go against Magisk to Guardian. Bomb going down. One player pushes forward. Oh! It's quick as lightning! And now the 1v1. Device quaking as Guardian looks dominant on this site. Device without a kid either. An uphill struggle at all occasions, but Guardian stills himself, steadies the nerve, spots up, gets it! Impeccable play from Guardian. You can take nothing away from this man. That was nothing short of brilliant.
He had no business hitting those 2 shots. Magisk, that aggressive angle, I thought that was going to be it. Guardian with such low HP as well. As the Molotov starts to spread, that final kill. And what a champion. Those are the kind of plays that FaZe, if they can bring them out more frequently, obviously you can't rely on it, but that's what can just ruin everything for Astralis with their smart tactical play. Guardian just crushes them. 9-5, and yeah, you have to take a timeout after that one. You need to take a deep breath and figure things out.
God damn. How do you deal with that one?
This is just disgusting. That's so fast, and obviously he misses that, it's over.
Yeah, that's done. That Guardian was so low on HP. He was down below like 20 or something. He was on 18, possibly. I'm not 100% sure, but one bullet would probably have done the job there. So that's the man you want turning up in the finals for you, if you're FaZe as well. But this is only the first half in a best of 5. We've got a long way to go.
It's going to be a very, very long game. Long match. Kerrigan watching for the reverse boost, I think. And now, yeah, this is much more convincing. Molotov going to try and imitate some of that mid-control. Molotov out, but the footsteps are being heard by Glaive, which isn't going to pull any rotations away. But once again, Rain has found the open space. It's Xizt to find the kill. He's quietly been very solid, and Glaive actually saves Xyp9x's life, but for how long is the question? All of his teammates are falling. He's trying to readjust his position. He's out in the open. He's gotten one. Somehow still alive, and he's given his team a 3-on-3.
Somehow in all that madness, he steadied his nerves, but there is still threats aplenty for FaZe. They have the numbers, but oh! dupreeh! Around the back, but still they maintain numbers. Device this time, put to the question, to the task that Guardian excelled in before. A 1v2 retake with the AWP. Never easy here on the CT side, of course. And it's NiKo and Kerrigan against you. He's looking. He's working his way forward. Every angle could contain a threat, and they are standing stoic in nature. Still as anything. Device now gets put down. It's Kerrigan to close out the first half here, and what a way to get this one started, Jason.
Well, we all had questions about FaZe, if they were going to be able to show up individually to challenge against Astralis, and that first half they've answered it, and it's yes. 10-5 heading into the second half.
We always knew this was going to be a brawl, but a 10-5 half favoring FaZe might surprise some. Astralis throughout this tournament had looked formidable, but now they've met quite possibly their match.
Seems like it. We were all wondering if FaZe was going to have their players showed up, but they've looked really spotty when they haven't had the individual level that we've come to know and love out of them. It's actually been Device who is quiet. Same with Dupree and actually Glaive. And there's some individual effort on the Astral side. It seems like at times they've tactically outplayed FaZe throughout some of those gun rounds, but just not having the firepower to finish it up, which is kind of a scary prospect for this Astralis side. It's Xizt, though, leading the way for FaZe, which is probably some contributions they didn't quite expect.
No, absolutely. It's always a nice bonus. But the one thing we heard on the desk as well is the fact that we haven't seen much of the Astralis T side or the depths that they can go to because we haven't really had to see it.
They have been pretty dominant, haven't they?
They've been really good. Even the basic stuff works incredibly well. Dupree's success in not only the games, but the opening duels as well, statistically, has been phenomenal throughout this tournament. So looking at him going forward is going to be interesting what he can achieve on this T side. But Astralis now need to really quite dig deep in this one. If FaZe start rolling, the fact of them having fun is terrifying. If they're starting to just kind of loosen up and enjoy this match in only the first half, it's a little scary, but we are getting this one started up. A bit of a simple, easy hit A. Smokes go up and it's red already. There's 3 players very dedicated here. Look at this crossfire coming in. Rain prepares himself. Good damage done. Going to be decapitating Dupree, but it's going to be Glaive to fight forward. And it's not going to be working out just yet. Xizt tries to still himself as they tried to get in towards the site, but they've broken in. The bomb not to hand yet, but easily recovered at this point.
That smoke, that late smoke might actually help FaZe. He can actually get an angle, but Matt just shuts it down. He hears the footsteps of Kerrigan. He knows exactly what he wants. Guardian, the last one left, and that spectacular clutch earlier with the ult, but surely not with the USP. Or the P2K, excuse me. That's a nice headshot. He's building upon this, and now he's got to find out where Glaive is, but no. Shut down. He found some open space and he found some opportunities. And Astralis barely holds on to the second half pistol.
Guardian's a scary player, isn't he? We're seeing that coming through now. Just that P2K and AWP doesn't seem to matter, whatever it is.
I mean, those were very quick shots. And I mean, that was actually not bad on the initial defense for FaZe. That Rain was in like a one and done spot, wasn't he? He gets that kill out towards door, and if he doesn't find like a second kill within the first 2 shots, he's just done with, he's over. So some investment for FaZe in this second round, going for that element of danger, but there's only armor bought up on Rain and Nico. The rest of them are saving as much money as possible, wanting to have that utility, benefit of the cushion of this scoreline.
Nico, let's see that Deagle do something. Been a while since we've seen it come truly alive. Great work from the back line, so this is a very quick pinch. Astralis have been surrounded on all fronts. They're trying to fight their way forward, but this is very deadly. Guardian tries to find that space to operate. Magisk says no, and he says no again. Kerrigan goes down. So Xizt and Rain now, even with everything seen and everything red, couldn't quite get it to work. Device just on the other side. The smoke, Rain's there for one, but Xizt sneaks through the door, but this is shut down from Astralis thus far. Xizt knows that he's going to be very limited in what he can achieve.
Almost might as well just fall back here. Keep that CZ in your hand if even possible. You know you're going to get kind of locked into this doorway. Magisk watching for the exit. It's an easy kill from him. There was a lot of damage done to Astralis right as they went for the exit in A main. I think that was a grenade that flew in. They've at least sustained something FaZe couldn't do in the first half. So they're starting to build 7-10 as they come back into this. FaZe going to have to sit around out. Mostly just unupgraded pistols. Not a lot of utility, actually just one flashbang on Xizt, so probably a plan of where that wants to go. Maybe pop flash in towards A main and just swing out and take fights, and that's exactly what we're going to see happen. But can they find the timing? That's going to be the question, if they can get it done when they hear the footsteps. And it's actually the bomb coming that way on Glaive, so if they get this right, this could be a tough round for Astralis.
Yeah, not as easy as they'd hope, but obviously no armor. Flash is great, but the spray down, not bad either, but Nico and Guardian going to connect well. They've actually picked up rifles too, and the bomb's now left in a very treacherous position. Nico up to put his life on the line for it, but nothing came through there. Guardian now without the armor, getting punished a little on the first, but he needs to be clean as anything.
Oh no, that smoke. That smoke actually cuts Astralis off from making a play, but coming right through. Device doesn't need vision. He's got 4 kills in the round.
All right, well, you know what, Jason? I'm kind of happy that it worked out this way. I'm happy to see the 3 rounds back for Astralis, because you know what that means, we have a closer game.
Well, I mean, even Guardian, the cool thing is Guardian with that AK-47 could have actually done something. We've seen him do some magnificent things in the late round, in the clutches that he's been in with the AWP first, and almost the pistol round as well in a 1 versus 3. That could have actually turned quite dangerous if he'd had the time to relocate. Either way, fourth round of the second half. The rifles are out and Device has his op, and we'll see what he can do with the T side. He got battered on the defense. Need to pick it up here.
I doubt Astralis are in much of a hurry yet. Bomb still down back in middle. Testing the waters, but Rain looking for information as well. We saw Dupree doing this somewhat on the other side, so a bit of a parallel in that. But utility being exchanged and both teams forcing each other away. As Magisk is the one testing that. Xyp9x showing a little by the door.
Astralis has actually forced out a lot of utility from this FaZe side, and now they've taken a scalp. Rain goes down and checkers. FaZe can't do a whole lot to slow down any hits. It's just kind of counter flashes if they do come in, but that one frag is going to open a lot of space for Device to try and find a pick, and NiKo is the one who's going to equalize things on Dupree. That's towards A main. There's some of those counter flashes coming in. Now he's in his locked horns with Xyp9x. At a standstill between the two of them.
Oh, an exist. Heads on over. Flash goes in. And job done. Exist. Hit and run on that. Shuts the door. Had enough. 3 players remain. Astralis now losing out on these positions, and NiKo's on the hunt. He's looking a little hungry. A little bit of bloodlust comes in, and he might just get a fair amount of it. Device on the corner too. NiKo, he reads it well, but Device outdoes him, and Glaive comes alive towards A. There's potential now. This was a 2v4 almost.
Oh, Device, that's gutsy, making that cross with such low HP, trying to beat the rotations, and he does exactly that. And because of it, he's now fooled FaZe. They likely, because he's dinked, think he's playing passive with that op, the long range out towards middle. So Karrigan has to be very cognizant. He has to be aware of the fact, but now it's been given up. The op rings out. They know exactly where he is.
And that's all they need, apparently. Defuse going to come through, and the play back in from FaZe was great. You're starting to see NiKo looking into it. Exist feeling hungry as well. These guys are really starting to put up the fight. The double AWP as well coming over for FaZe. A lovely touch.
See how that works for him. That's Astralis actually doing, getting beat up on that T side, losing way too many players. The pop flash in towards main. Xyp9x scared to make a move, locked in towards the left side of door, and it's FaZe who goes hunting him down. So very aggressive defense to try and find some frags when they're down a player, and it works out perfectly. Timeout now called for Astralis. They're down 8-11. Even with the pistol, that first gun round doesn't go their way, but they want to fight right back into it. They're going to invest more. And this time they won't have an AWP on Device to play with.
Desperate times here for Astralis. Purchase-wise, a little bit shoddy on a couple of fronts.
It's still relatively early in this map, but this is actually a very important round for Astralis. If they're going to be playing from very far behind, if they can't win this, they'll have to save. FaZe will be able to get up to 13, and all of a sudden you're down 5 rounds, and you're on the verge of losing the opening map of these grand finals.
Well, if there's a play in the book, this is the time to break it out. You've got UMPs, you've got Galils. The other team does have the SMG on Karrigan, but I mean, still, this could be quite something.
They've gone for mid-control, though, FaZe, and actually it looked like Astralis was going to have a very fast-paced round towards A, but they pumped the brakes right on the verge of it. It's a retake strategy on A coming out for FaZe, so this could work out perfectly. How aggressive do NiKo and Exist want to be in to try and rotate into the bomb site and stop this? And I don't think they can be that aggressive. It's NiKo with an AWP, so he's not at mobile.
No, the cross going to come out now. You can see them trying. NiKo, he's going for a little bit of a look. Gets sent packing, but Guardian's going to do what he could and finds Dupree. Xyp9x in the meantime does get tagged up, and the flank coming out from Karrigan could be very timely. Device might have to keep a little bit of a tab on that. Seems as though he is, but Karrigan going to try and outdo him. The angle's good for Karrigan. He takes down Device. Now Magisk gets called in. The backup arrives, and he delivers as well. It's a 4v3. And the CTs keeping control of this retake still. Xyp9x, Glaive dedicated towards the side, looking for a way to get this one under their control, and that's exactly what you want from a player like Magisk. And Xyp9x now needs to do it all in the 1v2, but the time is ticking and they do not have a kid. He might have just done enough for Astralis. Desperate times did call for desperate measures, and somehow they got that round on the board.
It's okay, though, if you're FaZe. I mean, you have the op to play with. You have both ops, actually. You're going to invest in this round. All 5 players from Astralis going down, so you want to challenge once again. Magisk again answering the call like he did yesterday. A hero so many different rounds, and he holds that angle perfectly. And he's the one that bought enough time for FaZe to just eventually bail out of that retake. So UMP is going to be dropped over. SMG, CZs, whatever they can buy around these double ops. Both of these teams on the verge of being reset.
Guardian is in the right place, quite possibly at the right time if this works out. The flash is good though from Astralis, forcing him away in this quick and pace. Oh, it's all Rain! Gets 3 kills, Debris, Device, Magisk, they're all gone! FaZe stabbed their authority on that round, and it's Rain destroying them.
It looked like for a moment Guardian was in the perfect place for Astralis to take advantage of it. Great pop flashes, but Rain comes out of nowhere. Look at this, the savior. That is a huge, huge round, and Astralis facing the prospect of a double eco, a double save. They go for the CZ, the armor buy. Dupree's got the Deagle that we know he loves. More pressure towards the B-bomb site. It's fast again. Rain's called upon once more. And so far holding strong. He's got to manage 2 choke points. He gets caught out in the open. In transition, he's dropped, and it's Kerrigan up next, but the bomb is on the ground.
Yeah, these CZs not really having the potency that Astralis are dreaming of. 3v3 isn't bad, but it's not good. Device getting pounded right now, down to 12 HP. That spray gifted over from Kerrigan.
Look at the flank coming in from Xyp9x. He's up highway, he's gone through A. They were so patient. They've bought him a lot of time, and they have actually one smoke. That's on Xyp9x. He's not gonna be at the B bomb site. He needs to go into checkers to help them with the cross. Kerrigan wants to challenge in front of the Molotov. Will Magisk inspect it? Yes! It's NiKo, 1 versus 3.
NiKo towering above them. They're all a little wounded, and this man is deadly. Device creeping his way forward now. Expecting a flank NiKo. Does give away a bit of the game there, bit of sound made. Not sure if they've completely heard it, but I can imagine they might have an inkling. And NiKo, how much can he do in this one? I think he's realized that this is a little bit beyond them, and money. If you have a little look down the sides, it is not looking good for FaZe. This is the right option for NiKo. He's going to back away from this, and we will see this game carry on forward.
Astralis pulls out a miracle in that round, and FaZe, they're benefited because Rain was so dominant in the previous round. All 5 players surviving. They have just enough built up for another purchase coming in. Rain is going to have a full investment, and everyone should have a decent amount of rifles actually around this AWP. NiKo needs to hold it though, so I'm not sure I enjoyed this call to go in the hunt, trying to keep the money low, trying to take as many things away, but exposing himself to some element of danger that doesn't come through. So all is safe for him. 12-10, and Astralis fighting themselves to stay in this opening map. Rain's going to have a solid buy, Guardian as well, and you imagine NiKo will drop that over. So another challenge here for both of these teams, as no one blinking. Device has that AWP. Magisk on 23 kills, at Xyp9x on 21. He had a really hot start, but Magisk has caught up in a big way. And a late tactical pause coming out from FaZe as the clock was winding down to start the next round. They want to talk things over.
Yeah, Robin being quite vocal in the backlines there. Not always the most vocal if you watch them play, but clearly having a lot to say about this one. 12-10, however. You're seeing the answers being made. Oh, no, thank you. This is why I like Australia.
Yeah, reason number 173 why Australia is great. Well, here we go, back into it. 12-10, FaZe, a tenuous lead. Double up setup as well for Guardian and NiKo. Astralis has picked up the aggression these past few rounds. Fast plays towards the B bomb site back to back. This time, mid smokes, maybe you want to mask their play towards A, and it's going to be speed again. Exist is going to be hiding behind the smoke. He's going to hear all these footsteps. He's calling the rotate, but it's the bomb here in A main. This is so important, and Device holding it. What a good read, and FaZe might be put out of this round immediately.
I'm pretty sure they're done for. NiKo's actually committing pretty far out. That Molotov forcing him further than he'd like. 50 HP here. Device with the back lines and the other two so far away. NiKo's in trouble. He's got to be really careful how he plays this one out. Trying to escape now. Might have to take a bit of damage from the molly. 10 HP. Holds the line. Dupree goes down, but the retake impossible. The save now comes to mind, and Astralis. What a turn of pace from them.
Yeah, it's been all speed, hasn't it? And FaZe hasn't been able to match it. NiKo just gets around the corner, goes for the peek, he goes down. They need to save as many of these weapons. The double op would have been great if you can buy the CZs around 2 ops in an M4, but now Astralis wants to take it all the way. 2 Molotovs for the bomb site as well. They've been spotted out. Rain sees it coming, but can they do anything about it? Here comes the attack. Molotov, Rain can't handle it. Guardian just trying to hide, not give away his position, and he just narrowly escapes.
11-12. It's game back on. We need to see the response from FaZe here on the CT side. How much depth do they have to go to? What can we expect from them? Because it looks like Astralis have found the answer they needed. I don't know what FaZe have up their sleeve, but it won't be this round we probably see it.
No, the tough part is because they've been locked in this kind of battle back and forth of who's going to reset the other first, FaZe hasn't been able to have all the nades, so you can see that's likely why Astralis is going so fast and aggressive, is because they can be early on. There's no Molotovs or smokes to stop them from the CT side. Guardians boosted up with that AWP towards the A bomb site, and once again, Astralis already out mid, already with control. They can pressure both bomb sites from this angle. You even got Magisk at B and Xyp9x in A main to provide some kind of a pinch depending on where you want to go.
Magisk getting a little bit of a glimpse there towards B. Maybe not liking that anymore, might have to consider other options, trying to herd them towards this, the Danger Man. Boosted up. And that might have done the job, actually. They might have done quite nicely at that.
I think this is FaZe just stacking B early to say if they come B fast, we'll have 3 players here. Now they want to rotate over to help out the op, and Guardian.
Device. He might have a shot at this one. We're going to see the bait coming in. Glaive going to try and show a little. Gives away a lot, but Xizt even finding dupreeh is big. They're kind of getting locked in here. They have no control of the back lines. Karrigan could have pushed up for all they know, but not the case, not the timing. Here we go.
They're hesitating. They're actually calling the bluff, and they are going to fall back, and there's no one from FaZe over at the B bomb site. Karrigan with the AK not going to expect the boost, but he does spin in time. Missed opportunity for Magisk, but they're booking it over towards this B bomb site. Xizt has to get into position.
Oh, Guardian, what a way to do this. And now a 1v2 for Xyp9x. Incredible in these situations, but going through the checklist mentally. Xizt is up there, forced away. Xyp9x gets the cross. Bomb to be planted now. NiKo's working his way back through. He's got himself an AWP. Xizt looking for a gun as well. Of course, no kits here. And Xyp9x needs to pick the position. Opting just for that little cubby corner. Both players coming back in through the vents as well. Gonna make some noise on the drop. And now Xyp9x needs to land some beautiful shots. One is good, the second's better! NiKo gets sent away, and we are back looking like we got a real matchup on our hands. 12-12, it's all even.
He just smiles. He knows you almost think he knows that he's going to win those rounds. And he didn't even feel like that strong of a position. I feel like once he hears the footsteps coming out of vents, he's kind of like, well, that's exactly where I didn't want them to be. Gets both kills. The benefit, perhaps, of lack of armor on that FaZe side, even with the picked up weapons, just not able to react in time. All tied up at 12-12. Here we are again, just a default spread from Astralis. What we've come to know out of them is they consider all their options. Well, they have been delivering some fast-paced knockout punches to FaZe recently. This time they know, as the losing bonus has built, there's going to be some of those extra nades and Molotovs to stop them and to deal damage early on. So slow it right back down and kind of confuse any of FaZe's reads.
NiKo, a bit of late aggression possibly coming through here. The flash isn't bad, actually. dupreeh's completely blind and it somehow goes his way. You've got to feel for NiKo in those situations to a degree, but you take those risks, and now that might be the go signal, or at least a pressure point for Astralis to build on. Xizt going to try and stem the bleed as he puts a Molotov down towards the door, slows down the pace. And Astralis have to, again, steady themselves here. Can't quite go straight for this one. Device making them scatter towards middle.
There's going to be a brawl coming up. FaZe actually read this, and actually because of that, I think Astralis realized that the shots that came out in mid when Device was boosted up, they wanted to rotate back towards B, and it's not going to happen. And look at the play from Karrigan. He's going to have such a sick timing on this flank. Xizt and Guardian to hold off the initial hit. This can be so good for FaZe. A tall challenge for Astralis.
Karrigan is about to place a knife in the back of his ex-teammates. It's all lining up one. That's all he can get, but he's buying time. This is all going terribly wrong for Astralis. 14 seconds, Guardian chomping at the bit. They've had to go forward into the blender, but Device is good for 2. Where did that come from? And now with the bomb plant, again, it's on this man. And they have no idea until now. Glaive didn't hear it. He was unaware. Now surprised, caught off guard. Karrigan fights his way forward, but Device right behind him. Delivers such a blow in that round. 3 kills. The 2 were integral. The last, cherry on the cake.
I actually do not know how Astralis took that round. The flank from Karrigan throws all the timings off, and all FaZe needed was just a strong defense. Oh, the double is going to help. Yeah,
now,
the
right?
2-for-1. That's beautiful. Exist and Rain go down. Fortunate for Astralis. FaZe just needed the smallest hole, just delay a few more seconds for Karrigan to really make Device nervous, and it just doesn't happen. But you have to say that flank was poised to really shut it all down. Karrigan's going to have nightmares about that, but starting to, you know, maybe come back into his own.
You got to face your nightmares sometime. Well, with the first bit of blood drawn this round, NiKo fancies getting on the action. Not so easy though. Glaive delivers a swift headshot. Gets it all back all even. Of course, aside from the fact they are only on CZs and a scout for FaZe, so not exactly ideal, not exactly primed to go, but we've seen stranger things. Device up on the boost. Keeping control over by middle. And it's going to be just Rain over by B if they do go for this.
I have to say as well, I mean, as much as we talked about Device with 0 kills for a lot of that first half and having a really tough first half, it's a testament to his mental fortitude and his focus that he's able to bounce back and not let that sting him into the second half. He's been great as they've transitioned into the offense, the double kill with huge impact. And sometimes with your star players, it's all that matters is that they can have impact when you need it most. Guardians here, 2 players to defend initially, and Rain just goes for action. Molotov into the bomb site. Nade is going to do some damage, but it's not enough at the moment as Karrigan, he's going to be pinned down, but he's tagging up Device. He's trying to help out as much as possible, and Guardian, the dink, but can't complete the kill. That should secure things for Astralis.
I don't know how Karrigan's alive, and Exist did find a rifle. They are low, but that's an issue. Exist finds 2! He's got 3 already! And Xyp9x now maybe a little worried. It was never meant to be this difficult. It was never meant to be this hard. Exist just made this worse, but the positioning from Xyp9x is beautiful. Exist has no idea, clueless. The mastermind waits, he sprays and he gets it. Astralis outdoing them now. Watching his FaZe fall.
Xyp9x doesn't get nervous. He doesn't get worried at all whatsoever. And it's his positioning when all the action is happening towards Vent, when all that is going on, he just puts himself in just the checkmate spot. There's no chance Exist knew he was going to be. There's no reason for him to check that whatsoever. Time and time again, we'll say Xyp9x well done in the clutch. 14-12, he's put his team up down the stretch. Guardian's got the op back in his hands, though.
It's got to be now for FaZe, otherwise Astralis do get towards that map point to get 15 on the board. Good nade, though, keeping Guardian a little tamer, but long way to go yet. Best of 5, of course. As said on the desk, it is a marathon at this point. Got to keep that tenacity at an all-time high. Exist as well, trying to respond accordingly to that utility just being thrown in. You've still got Xyp9x in the door too. That could be a huge problem, but look at this. Timing is everything. dupree's a little further ahead from where they expect. Oh, they line up for him, but the flash is excellent. Good work, sets up Exist well, and they finally get that opening kill without the trade coming instantly back through.
It seemed that there was a possibility he was going to get a double, and I was so scared for just a moment. Exist and NiKo, nicely done. They're actually going to stay in front of the door as well. They don't want to challenge on the cross back. They're going to boost up. This will allow them. Ooh, they cancel it. They made a noise. They don't want to give up the game. Device in middle. Chance to challenge if you'd like to. It's Guardian here holding. They're all going to reconvene towards this A-bomb site. NiKo and Exist to have the initial fight. Guardian on the quick rotate. Not a lot of utility, not a lot of nades for this defense over. Just one flashbang on NiKo to hold them off as long as possible. And that could be tough.
Here comes the late round aggression again. Relentless from FaZe. It doesn't work out this time though. This could be the point. That's the fuse being set, and now here comes Astralis exploding towards the site. 3 players working their way out. Xyp9x now with them, but NiKo's right there. Dying to get in on this, dying to turn the tide of this round, but with 15 seconds he tries to make up for it, but it's too little too late. And it looks like with Magisk at the helm, it's going very well with the bomb plant now imminent. We see that 3v3 retake. Device misses a shot just to get out, gets away, but Karrigan's crept further forward. Glaive needs to be ready. Flash coming in. Nice work from Karrigan. He's on the bomb side. Guardian towards Magisk. And now it's on Device through the bomb. Oh, the adjustment, but he's on the defuse. He can't stop it, surely. With a kit in hand, his job done. FaZe stay alive.
Device does go down in the end as well. Nicely done from FaZe. The aggression from Exist doesn't pan out. And actually, around Astralis, it felt like they were going to win that one. They feels like they haven't had to worry about players inside the actual bomb site themselves. FaZe is playing it far out. They're playing for the retake, get some kills as Astralis comes in and go from there. And it's almost bitten them a couple times, and once again, they just barely get away. The plant not for Device and A main made that near impossible for him to win. But that is a big round. That's a...
It's better than XD. I'll give you that.
That was, I mean, that's a round FaZe desperately needed. That stops a 5-round run for Astralis. And Astralis have a decision to make. A couple players hovering around 4,000, couple players low in the 3,000s. Wouldn't be the strongest buy, but they know they have FaZe on the verge of being reset. So very tough call, and they're going to make it at 14-13. They're going to invest. All on the line for FaZe Clan this time.
It's got to be good for FaZe now. It's got to be this round. Again, is this more aggression coming in here, Exist and Karrigan? This might be the case. SMG to hand. They're about to set this one up. Flash is good again. They're so good at this, but this time the fight is going right back in. dupreeh and Device combined for Exist, and it will be dupreeh on his own, of course, to get Karrigan, as we did see Device fall, but a 4v3 is exactly what you want to be seeing, and there's still pressure towards B, completely unaware. Guardian so focused on Glaive, he didn't see Magisk on the corner, and winning out in these 1v1s has set up Astralis pretty well, but that bomb's still not really being played out here. Rain still challenging as well, has to get away from that Molotov, but where's NiKo in all of this? He's your danger man, he's the unknown quantity.
I think he hears these footsteps. He's actually peering to make sure he doesn't get caught, but he's going to rotate over towards A. Rain is still sticking around at the B bomb site.
Timing.
Yeah, they're going to beat him here. They're going to get this plant, and Magisk coming around. Now he's going to be an element of danger for NiKo, depending on the speed of this flank.
Oh, this timing could be ridiculous. So Rain sitting this fight out, it looks, for a little while there. And NiKo on the flank. They're not going to expect it, surely. Spot. Did they just spot him? I'm not sure if they spotted him. He certainly saw them, though. Xyp9x and dupreeh now, a little confused. NiKo clearing out everything he can. The information's being poured across. Now Rain goes down, but here's the trade out. NiKo comes back in, but where's the other player? He knows there's another on site. He leaps around, he gets dupreeh. Smoke goes in, nade goes out. Magisk in the 1v1 with the time ticking.
Oh, he's held his nerve.
Magisk, he held his nerve. What a player. Oh, and he comes around. Deagle to the chest. NiKo is not breathing after that one. Welcome to the Astralis side, Magisk. You just earned your stripes and then some.
Oh, NiKo almost had it so close on the flank, on a knife's edge as well. If you just held it defuse, you obviously can't know. Even finds the second player coming in. NiKo almost had this play, and remember, Rain got into that fight at the B bomb site against Magisk earlier that dinked him down to the low HP. If he had just been able to complete that kill, it's a round win for FaZe, and unfortunately, it goes the other direction, and it's FaZe. This is why we said that round was all in for them. It's going to be mostly SMGs, a couple CZs coming out as Astralis take another timeout to talk things over. Their last one of the game.
The desk said that this was going to be a brawl, at least on the first map, and it's certainly lived up to that. We've seen FaZe being informed that we hadn't quite seen throughout this tournament. We've seen a slow build from them.
That's the tough part, is if you lose this, if you're FaZe, you've had a lot of things that you knew you would need to win this game. You have had Rain, who's been locked in.
Yep.
You had a great performance from Exist. You had Device and Guardian locking horns, and Guardian actually winning those, most of it. All the recipe, and here's dupreeh, but he gets shut down. There's the CZ, AK in his hands now, peering around the edge of the smoke. Astralis, you have to be careful how you handle this. Karrigan going for one more, and he's gonna get it.
Oh, this is a shutdown. FaZe, they want OT, they want it all. This would put it right on the edge of it. Xyp9x left in the 1v5, only a UMP to hand. Keep in mind that money for Astralis, it is far from good. Both teams in a little bit of a predicament here. Up and over we go. NiKo goes down, spots out another. Don't you do this, Xyp9x, don't you dare. Rain is there in the end. And with the quickening of pace from Astralis, it is met with sheer and utter aggression from FaZe. And Jason?
Yes.
This looks like OT.
It does look like overtime. It's we saw Astralis win one of these earlier. That I think they might be a little upset later on today about this call. if they're not going to pick up that trophy, they might look back to that on map 1 and just say that might have been a huge mistake. The money problems for FaZe were there, but because they've picked up so many weapons from Astralis, no longer. It's a complete role reversal. Only pistols on the Astralis side to try and close this out in regulation. There's an open Guardian, rifles on everyone else, plenty of kits, plenty of nades. And what do you do here if you're Astralis? What's the call this time?
Oh my god, not again. Okay. Quiet on the boost this time. Do manage it. Astralis looking for options, looking for what to do. Glaive still commanding the troops here. Device taking a lot of damage. Very close towards Guardian now. You can see FaZe, aside from Exist to a degree, being pretty far back here. They do not want to let much get through. They don't want any kills coming in for free. Got to keep this one as clean as possible. Get to OT, start building back in.
Guardian can challenge that. Device just shoulder peeking, just pre-firing the shot, and a little bit of luck goes his way, and Guardian could go down, but it's not going to happen. He's had enough of that. Swats Device down like a fly. And all that's left is this set piece. Exist and NiKo, they've been challenged so frequently on this bomb site, and they're going to get one more to close it out.
Well, this is it. This is huge for Exist. Teammates are smoked off. Flash goes in. He's still good. One, you could have done with a second Dupree. He's going to trade it back in. Oh, that's great from Xyp9x, but the trades come back and forth. It's all on Glaive in a 1v3. It looks like OT is on the horizon. Glaive trying to bait him the shot, and you can't bait Guardian. It's 15-15. This is what you want from a final, and this is only the first map. We have 5 more.
This game deserves overtime. It's been so back and forth, and both of these teams a chance to crumble at some point and just haven't done it. Astralis has had to win a desperation round earlier in the half. FaZe has had to do the same thing. And now with 16K, no one's going to be challenged in terms of their money for the rest of this game. Double up setup for FaZe coming out right off the bat on the CT side. They haven't been able to go to this too often because they have been punished. Device likewise has his AWP. Won't have to challenge Guardian with the Deagle like we just saw. And look at Guardian, he's on the hunt. In towards Checkers, has the angle flashed off of it, but not gonna give up.
No, giving up seemingly not part of the dictionary when it comes to FaZe. Not part of their vocab. 8's not gonna do too bad. A little bit of damage, but it's not what you're gonna write home about. Guardian getting so close, but it's NiKo to catch Dupree there. I'm not sure if that was through the door. I'm pretty sure it was, but that's his home. Don't go near it. Leave him alone in there.
That was actually in through A main. I don't know if he spammed it or if he actually peeked in and actually saw that, but more aggression in A main. That's pretty wild.
Wow.
Smoke down in the main choke point over at the B bomb site. Reigns gonna get aggressive. We know that FaZe like to do this. Pop flash him in, and he's gonna push forward, gonna find the angle. Magic's not ready for it. Glaive right around the corner, but doesn't want to challenge. A 2-on-5, and it's looking like first round of overtime. That smoke bounced way more than he would have liked. It took a long time to plume, but it doesn't matter. In the open, Rain is supreme, and Xyp9x left, and we know he's a clutch master, but that's too much to ask. 16-15.
They've stabilized FaZe. Looking pretty darn good here. The AWP's really coming through. NiKo had his way with him on A.
Yes.
And if he's starting to come alive, that's when you get nervous. That's when you're realizing maybe the underdog wasn't the right title for these guys. But we'll see. Plenty of time yet.
We've already established that Kerrigan just likes to say these things to just alleviate some of the pressure. He's done it plenty of times in the past.
Yeah.
And fair play. I mean, why not go for it? Why not see if you could just help out in any way you can?
Well, Rain asked so many questions already. Had the answers. You might just have to do it again. Any sound would give away the game.
Might have to do it all alone as well. He's the only one here.
This was a bit of an A read, it looks like, from FaZe. They have a lot of players dedicated towards it. High weight. Oh, Rain. This is going to make you nervous. This is when your steel gets tested. Molotov towards Checkers, starting to burn, and Rain knows he has very limited options. He does have NiKo in support, but they're going to check on this. How much damage can he do? 0 is the answer. Dupree takes his head off, and now it's the go signal. It's time to hit that bomb site, get the bomb down. Molotovs are in, no one is there to stop them. And NiKo just goes right through the smoke. He's wild, but it doesn't go well, but Guardian shows him how it's done. And now can he find any more? Molotovs begin to burn. And it, close, but not gonna happen there. The hit coming back through from Kerrigan felt disjointed, trying to strike while the iron was hot, but for now, the 2 players remaining for FaZe in a very dire situation. And look at this, Device, the timing, excellent. And now Guardian 1v4.
1v4 and blind, and yeah, this is going to be a round to Astralis. Not even enough time for him to find all 4 kills. NiKo tried to do something through the smoke. It slapped away. Rain actually has the perfect... Oh, that's nasty. That is disgusting shot through the corner of the box.
It's the right kind of nasty.
It is the right kind of nasty. That's tough. Rain, that flashbang that comes in, actually, it's pretty cool to watch FaZe on this defense. Throughout this CT-sided half, they've been using pretty much those kind of pop flash peaks to get aggressive in towards A main and now B main as well. That's what they're using to find their information, to find their aggressive and assertiveness on the defense. And that time, they already had the angle. They just spray him down blind.
Can we have a little look at Karrigan just to see where he's going in this? Okay, it's not too much of a bother. He does have the auto sniper, of course. But it is again towards B. Guardian now under pressure, flashed up now. Players pouring forward. He's already going to be losing out on his life. That Molotov burned so fast, but it's Rain still standing tall towards B, and they've held them back. He's holding all of this together, and it looks like Astralis peeling away from this very quickly.
The last time Astralis ran that round, it was Rain who got a triple kill initially to save Guardian's life. Not to be this time. The defense is pulled in all different directions, and you're right, because of that auto sniper on Karrigan, Xizt feels much more comfortable heading towards mid. This is going to be centralized, and we're going to see the Dak get some action.
I'm a little worried about this. Karrigan lays in wait. Smoke comes in, and you know he's getting excited now. He knows this might be his opportunity to make it hurt. Round the corner we go. The Massacre only good for one. Couldn't get much more, but Xizt lines him up and knocks him down. FaZe looking so strong now. And Magisk, phenomenal throughout the tournament until this point. He needs to dig incredibly deep here. One on site, one by truck, and one going to be on the highway. Does not matter. NiKo is there for it. FaZe looking very good now.
Looking for 19, that's the winning number, and FaZe is one step closer than Astralis. Nice double kill from Xizt, holding down the forklift. Really well done from him as Glaive and Dupree cannot find him in time as players ready up, and we are set to go live again after the switch. It's going to be Astralis' turn. If they want that double up setup, they can have it. We've seen them dabble with it a number of times with Dupree, with Glaive. Usually not, but I mean, if they want to get frisky, they can, and they are. Glaive's going to pick that up. Xyp9x is 30 and 20. That is an incredible performance. Guardian's at 29 on the other side, so going head to head there.
We've got aggression. We have 2 players encroaching on middle here. Magisk and Dupree getting very close. And this could be the perfect boost if it happens. This is all possibility. Rain, obviously, on the very verge, quickly going towards A, and it's a very quick hit. Xyp9x now needs to somehow stop the flood. He can't do it. Simply too strong. Device might be up to the task. Finds 2, but Guardian there to shut this down. Magisk tries to get around the back lines, but NiKo's so aware. Stops that before that begins. Now Glaive and Dupree on the retake. Burning alive is Glaive. He can't time it right. Guardian happily deals one of the killing blows in that round. Xizt to wrap it up. But this is the perfect starter for this 5-course meal.
18-16, FaZe only needing one more. This is a really cool hit. They actually turn to the left. Usually you smoke that off and attack the bomb site, but they get Rain in position inside the smoke. One quick pop flash, he finds his way to forklift, and he attacks the bomb site from a reverse position. That's really well done. Even Device with 2 kills couldn't stem the bleeding, couldn't stem the tide of FaZe attacking in towards A, and now 2 chances to steal a map away from Astralis.
FaZe tipped for greatness here. What a turnaround that would be, considering how they've played thus far, having some real turbulent times throughout the group stage, barely making it to this moment, but they are here, and you can see as to why. This is what you want from FaZe. This is the form that they can bring. And these are the rounds they could do it in. Map 1. Sitting well with them for now. Still time for Astralis to get back here, but of course no mistakes. And Rain up on the boost. Magisk not far off either.
This is quiet from both teams. You can hear a pin drop, and Guardian not even peeking in towards mid yet. And Magisk is going to have a tough time now. They're starting to attack. The drop down from Rain, not expecting it. Exist up next. He's been delivering round after round, and again, he finds the equalizer. The bomb is creeping over towards A, and Glaive is actually committed to middle. Great reaction from Guardian. Shifts his aim over. 35 seconds and plenty of time for FaZe to choose things, but dupreeh might actually shrink this map.
He's so far away, though. There's so many players about to come towards Xyp9x. Device over by B. It's all on Xyp9x right now. Device can get there, but it might be a little bit late. It might be just behind the curve. Let's see what he can do. Gonna have to gamble on position. Highway is a huge threat. Gets the first. Exist is down, but look how many other players are coming in. Now we're gonna see if dupreeh can get into the matcher at the right time as well. Spots out Guardian, tags him up. Time is ticking. It's a 2v2 and the HP is low for FaZe. The bomb to be planted. Oh! The strike comes out. It's a 1v2. Karrigan, can he win it for his team right here, right now? No, is the answer. Astralis live to fight another day in OT.
NiKo felt like he had to go aggressive with that flank coming in. Once Guardian goes down, he feels like he has to take the fight on top of Redbox, try and force Device away, give them a second front to play the post plan in, and it just doesn't happen. Really well done from Device, holding his nerve. A patient shot as he transfers to the top. One step closer to the second overtime. 17-18 as freeze time comes to an end. Weapons picked up as they exit spawn, and here we go. 2 ops for the FaZe side of things. I think that might just be to try and get an early pick on Exist and drop it off for an AK-47 afterwards. He's just holding for a push towards that B bomb site, so yeah, he'll transition into his regular AK-47 as soon as he makes sure no one's getting aggressive here.
All right. 1 for free on Magisk there. I'm pretty sure that was what they're trying to boost. Very nice.
Heartbreaking if you're Magisk and Astralis.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to have a little bit of a, I guess, a feather to the cap there on towards A. It's been mostly Xyp9x on his own with the support from Magisk, maybe from Highway or, being aggressive in middle. They don't have him there this round. Now they're looking for a way to exploit it. 1 minute on the board here. Double OT or FaZe close out map 1. That's what we're waiting to find out. Glaive up on Highway. Plenty of utility left for both sides.
This is a great call from FaZe. If they take this mid control, Astralis can't really fight for it because they're already down a man. But now both of the bomb sites are pressured and they have to get aggressive. If they want to get a player in position, it has to be Xyp9x pushing forward, and he's doing just that. He's going to be challenged by NiKo when they turn this corner. Depending on the timing, NiKo's watching for it. There's Rain with the big fight in mid. That forces Xyp9x hands, and NiKo's waiting for it, and FaZe might be closing this out. dupreeh inside the smoke. He's going to get another one. He's keeping them in it. It's a 2-on-3, and now it's Device's turn with the ult, but he finds NiKo in the open.
With everything they have, Astralis are desperately trying to keep this together, but Rain now pushing further forward. He's up for the chance. No, he loses it out. Is this double OT right now? Again, it falls on Karrigan's shoulders against his old teammates. He knows what he has to do in the 1v2. And now we wait. He has the Molotov. The bomb's planted, kind of showing maybe this is for main. But these two players for Astralis have to work their way back in. Karrigan now hears them towards the site. Molotov goes in. He takes the first life. That's dupreeh down. But the 1v1 begins. Device is on the bomb. Karrigan. Oh my God, this man. What is he made of? He comes around and he does it. FaZe in map 1. Send more than a statement. That is a knife through the heart of Astralis.
FaZe is here, and you love to see it. Great win for Karrigan, shaming his teammates in a 1-on-2. Map 1 for FaZe. We're going to go to the desk after the break, and we'll get map 2 underway.